Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you folks so much for joining us on another wild, crazy roller coaster adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's death-defying. Last week it wasn't death-defying. It was just death.
Yeah.
You never know. This crazy, it's a wild card. It's a deck. We're shuffling it. You deal. You never know what you're going to get. You might get a crazy short life with a dead guy and crazy stuff. You might get a long life. You might get a guy with $500 million. It's a shuffle.
Do you guarantee anything?
We guarantee it'll be funny.
Yeah.
That's it. We're going to make fun of whoever it is, and it'll be goddamn funny. Outside of that, who the shit knows what you're going to get. So we're excited for this week. Just got to thank everybody first off for your reviews. If you haven't done it yet, get on that purple icon, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell it is there. Also on Stitcher, I think you can do it. Yeah. And give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Say something. Say you're following instructions, following directions. We don't give a shit. Right. It's just to drive us up the charts. So help us out there. It helps. It helps. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs. Are you listening to Small Town Murder? If the answer's no, I gotta say why. If you like this show, I promise you'll like that show. It's murders and us making fun of crazy shit that goes on in small towns. You're going to enjoy it, basically. So get on that. Get your tickets to live shows for that. All sorts of live shows coming up. Indianapolis and Louisville, February 15th and 16th. Get your tickets right now for that. Also, if you want to be a huge supporter of the show, you want to be one of our producers who we're just going to gush about in glowing terms at the end of the show. You can do that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And every dime is appreciated, as you can see. And right now, this episode, I don't think we have any ads. This is going to be an ad-free episode. Right. So there you go. Yeah. So you can plunk down a couple bucks if you feel like it, because you get an ad-free. So do that up. And without further ado, man, let's get into this, dude. Let's rock this out this week. It's an interesting story. Last week, I noticed a few people not complaining, but whenever we get new listeners to the show, takes them a minute to get up to speed. Yeah. And that's fine because you don't know what you're listening to. Yeah. So they're like, oh, crime and sports. So let's say if your first episode you listen to is Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. Let's say that was your first episode. Sure. You're like, holy shit, this is crazy. It's just him acting like an asshole the whole time. And what a jerk. We make fun of him. You know, it's sad what he did to these women, obviously, stuff like that. But, you know, beyond that, like, you know, he'll do something stupid. We'll laugh at him and you go on from there. Right. Then you get a show like last week. It was a tough one. That had a tragic ending, even though it was a lot of comedy before that and all that sort of thing. And people are like, oh, well, I kind of feel bad for him. And that's fine. Yeah, you're allowed. But it's crime and sports, so the endings, you never know what's going to happen, basically. That's the thing. So, you know what I mean? So in response to that, since you felt bad last week,
we'll make sure that doesn't happen?
We'll make goddamn sure. And then we'll see which one you like better. Okay. And then you'll go, oh yeah, I won't bitch about anything. I'll just see whatever they give me, I'll take.
Whatever they figure out, I'll take it.
That's it. Yeah. If we're serving it up, it's going to be fucking hot and crispy, so eat it. That's what we're saying.
I did learn that Claude and Mario, no relation.
No, and that's the other thing. We even said, not sure if they're related, but they're both named Lemieux and they play hockey, so sure, we'll say they are. The other thing is, nobody gave a shit. You know why? Show wasn't about Claude and Mario Lemieux. They were mentioned for, 8 seconds out of 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah. And I got 10, 20, 50 fucking tweets. Look at that, brothers. You know what? I don't fucking care.
I don't even like hockey that much.
Don't care.
I like when they fight.
Don't give a shit.
It's so exciting.
Ask your average person on the street, hey, Claude and Mario Lemieux, are they brothers? They'll go, yeah, sure.
Probably.
Who knows? That's exactly what I did. I guess. I don't fucking know. I didn't say they were born in a cabin, both of them, from the same mother's vagina, 2 cold years apart in the Canadian. No, I didn't say that.
Nursed upon wolf's milk.
It's funny. So anyway, let's get to this because we got craziness coming up here.
Very good.
Back in time a little bit, which we always have fun with. We're going to talk about Rosendo Torres Hernandez.
Yeah. NASCAR driver? Indy driver?
There's a lot of Puerto Rican IndyCar drivers. That's what they're known as.
Puerto Rican?
It's one of those things where it's like, in the Puerto Rican culture, you hope to someday, they've been telling their kids for generations that you're going to drive the IndyCars and you're going to win the race. That's how it goes. There's been a lot of them.
Is he a jockey?
The long list of Puerto Rican IndyCar champions and NASCAR especially too.
Yeah,
it's big time. They're huge into NASCAR. He's a baseball player.
Okay,
he doesn't go by Rosendo Torres Hernandez.
What's he go by?
He goes, Jesus Christ, Jimmy, he goes by Rusty Torres.
Perfect.
Rusty. Which is actually, it's funny because he shares that name, which is actually a sexual move. It's actually when a chick shoves a gordita up your ass while blowing you and humming La Cucaracha at the same time, I believe. That's a Rusty Torres. Or at least it should be.
Humming the words to tequila.
That's it right there. That's lowrider. Same thing. Same thing. You know what? It's fine. Lowrider's acceptable.
Yeah, it'll work.
Anything that's been in a Cheech and Chong movie soundtrack, basically. Anything, a lowrider, you can have whatever you want.
Inagata DeVito, whatever.
If it was in Up in Smoke, it's cleared. It's fine.
That's hysterical.
It's fine. So Rusty Torres, Jesus Christ,
he didn't know.
Give it the old Rusty Torres. We've had Rusty Medina on Small Town Murder.
He didn't know that Rusty anything is not positive.
And just Rusty Torres for some reason really, it sounds worse than Rusty Medina or
Rusty Trombone.
Rusty Trombone or fucking. Yeah, it's bad. He took Rusty Trombone and he's Dirty Torres at the same time instead of Dirty Sanchez. So he's all weird sexual things mixed together.
Mixed it all up.
He's a disgusting man, is what I'm getting at here. Just based on
filth grab bag.
It's a grab bag. It's a bowl of filth. It's like a Chex Mix bowl where hey, that's some filth. Hey, I like that. It's a square filth. Hey, it's one of those skinny long pretzel-y things. That's a good filth. I like that.
That is the worst snack of all time.
Well,
I hate Chex Mix so much.
You just leave behind all the whatever that is.
Shit nobody else eats.
The dark brown shit. I don't want that stuff there. I want those little cheesy pretzel sticks.
Well, from time to time.
And some Chex.
Right.
And I don't know what else you put in there.
Gardettos are gross. Everything that has a bunch of weird shit jammed together with some seasoning on it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Well, they just put the seasoning so it all tastes the same anyway. That's
exactly.
what it is.
So what's the point? Well, you don't love the rye chips. You love those just as much as the pretzel because they all taste the same.
The pretzel, and the pretzel tastes just like rye because it's been rubbing up against rye for the last 6 months in a little plastic bag.
Stop acting like it's different.
Jesus.
It's all gross. It's fucking. Who did that?
I don't know. A trail mix. It was like, this is what we have left. Take it with you on the trail. I don't know. It's the odds and ends.
Right.
Munch on it.
It's about 6 ounces of everything we got.
That's it. Yeah.
Gross.
It's gross. It's like just mixing all the liquors together in food form.
Right. The mat shot?
Yeah, just a little bit of this left, a little bit of that left. You know what you do after a party when you're 12 and you're perusing. Well, I drink a little of that. You ever do that when you were a little kid?
Yeah, you end up drinking a lot of brandy.
Yeah.
Because that's all that's left.
I passed out on my face on New Year's Eve when I was like 10 one time from that. Got shit
fucking
faced.
E&J.
Oh, boy, I got hammered.
It's always in the fridge.
I don't know what the hell.
Nobody drinks that shit.
You can drink that all day. So, old Rusty Torres, born September 30th, 1948.
Okay.
So he's an older gentleman, as we'll talk about here. He's born in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico.
Oh,
so he's born down.
Native.
He's born down in Puerto Rico and moves to the States. And he's about 6 or 7 years old.
Okay.
He comes to Brooklyn.
Wow, that's a long trek.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know if you've ever been to New York, but quite a few Puerto Rican people there.
They got a whole fucking parade about it.
It's a parade, and
they got a whole day.
And I have to say, that's one of the things I miss most about New York is fucking Puerto Ricans. Something, I don't know what it is, but I always get along with, it's a stereotype. I don't care. I get along great with Puerto Ricans, and I always have since I was a little kid. Everybody's Puerto Rican. I could talk to them for 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker's Puerto Rican. It's a weird thing. Puerto Ricans and Italians have well, they came here.
Similar struggle.
Well, they replaced us everywhere. Like Spanish Harlem was Italian Harlem, and then Puerto Ricans moved there. So it's like Puerto Ricans, I feel like, moved here and saw whatever Italians were doing and like, I'm going to do that.
We can do that.
That's what the immigrants do here. So they bought a Cadillac and they dressed the same, and it's fucking hilarious. So it always used to crack me up. Like you get an old Italian man, an old Puerto Rican man, they look exactly the same. It's fucking hilarious. So, and they act the same too.
Yeah, they do. They have very similar manners. Maybe it's just
it's awesome.
A Spanish root. You know what I mean? Because there's something to that with Italians, right? It's a Spanish root.
Well, I mean, it's right next to Spain. It's all the same shit over there. It's Mediterranean.
Right.
It's right next. They're separated by water a little bit, but it's closer than here and closer than New York and Texas would be. So they're in there. So he moved here. He said when he moved, he had blonde hair and blonde eyebrows.
What?
Well, also Puerto Ricans, if you don't know, the color-wise will span the spectrum.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. There's Puerto Ricans that are that
like
are
South
very
Africans.
dark, and then there's Puerto Ricans that are. My one friend in New York was born in Puerto Rico. He was white as an Irishman. He had dark hair and dark eyes, but I mean he looked Puerto Rican, but his skin was as white as a fucking. He looked Irish, like he couldn't stay outside, he'd burn and shit. Like
beige baby.
That was he wasn't. He was a very white,
very albino baby.
So he said. Plus, a lot of kids when they're younger are blonde, and then they grow into adult hair.
I don't know why it's shocking me right now when I know very well that no matter what the nationality is, the skin color spectrum changes. I guess that makes sense. I'm just blown away because I see
Mexican
a specific
women are Mexican women and men.
I mean, look at
blonde.
Fat Joe. That guy's a black guy, and he barely looks white.
That's what I mean. So Fat Joe's Puerto Rican.
He is, isn't he?
Puerto Rico.
You're right. See, there you go.
That's like right. His whole. Yeah,
he's very proud of it.
Puerto Rico. That's his whole.
That's his whole thing. Well, I think he's dead now.
Fat Joe?
Yeah, isn't he dead now?
I think he might have died recently.
I mean, the vast majority of the big rappers don't.
Big Pun has died a long time ago. The Fat Joe's friend.
Long gone.
Well, he was 700 pounds when he died. We looked that up. Gone. That was like, whoa.
Like his leg turned black when he died. It was not a
his
good
leg was black from the time he was 14, probably. He was like in the 8th grade. Like, I got this black leg. And they're like, damn, it's fucking rough, bro.
I think he died of deep leg thrombosis.
Lose some weight.
That's a bad one.
He died of 700 pounds.
Yes, he did.
And 5'6".
He died of being biggest man.
You can pick it.
Yeah.
Just pick them. It doesn't matter. I mean, not that it doesn't matter, but pick the ailment. Right. Anything could have got him. That's rough. If one thing didn't get him, something else was on deck. Just fucking chomping at the bit.
Warming up.
Going, he's throwing junk out there. I'm going to fucking crush this shit. Over the right field wall, he's throwing garbage.
Weighted back, just swinging it shoulder to shoulder.
On
warming
timing
it up.
him and shit. Mm-hmm. Look at this shit. No break to the curveball. Fastball's flat. He's throwing bullshit up there on that
Big
mound.
Pun's throwing junk.
He's throwing bullshit on his 700-pound fucking mound.
It hurts. It feels so shitty to laugh at that poor fuck.
I know.
But I love it.
I know. I don't know why. What are you going to do? We're both delirious right now, so what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Anyway.
Nobody wanted Big Pun to die.
No, he was great.
Seemed like a fun guy.
He was bragging about all the squish he crushed. You know what I mean?
Which is hilarious.
Just bragging about it.
Yeah.
Well, stop bragging.
Like, because that is something to brag about because they had to go on a scavenger hunt to find his dick. So he's like, girls were willing to go that extra mile. Not only were they willing to fuck me, they were willing to put in the hour beforehand to put on a spelunking helmet.
Figure out where this thing is at.
Leave trail mix behind them. I give him a sack of trail mix and a spelunking helmet, and I'm like, yo, baby. Puerto Rico.
Trace your way with the ride ships.
Yeah. Okay.
Every time Big Pun fucked, he smelled like Gardettos?
I think so. Yeah. Absolutely. I think he probably smelled like Gardettos beforehand. He just smelled like Gardettos. Not to fat shame or whatever, but if you're 700 pounds, You smell like Gardettos, probably. 700 pounds is extreme. Yeah. That's extreme.
It's so much.
That's like, I mean, that's not an accident.
Right.
That's a different thing.
I knew Ralphie May when he was losing weight. It's a smell. That Gardetto smell is a thing.
Well, you move around. He's a big guy.
He was eating like fresh foods, like lettuce and shit.
Yeah.
And tons of vegetables.
You're just moving.
And he just smelled like Gardetto.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Smell like a rye chip. You can't help it. It's going to happen.
Lasagna.
Rusty.
Yeah. Get back to this guy.
Fucking Rusty.
He grew up in New York.
Yeah, he says, quote, I came to Brooklyn in 1955 when I was 7 years old. When I was young, I had blonde hair and blonde eyebrows. My father was Anglican Spaniard. So his father was more white. I have African side from my mom, who's half Caribbean Indian and half African American.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's got, well, that's Puerto Rico's.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that's islands. A sexy courtship.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
Like that.
You're mixing things together. That's always going to be good. That's always good.
That's hot.
Like we say, beige babies. This is what I'm talking. You got to mix.
This.
Genetic diversity is fucking good.
It is.
It's what everything is based on. Look at the royal family.
Yeah.
Look at them. Look at them. Look at the one who's going to be king. Okay? The, quote, sexy one has a red afro.
Right.
He's a fucking pale guy with a red... He's the sexy one because his brother... By the way, I've said this before, but William is going to be the king of a major, like an A nation, like a first world nation.
Right.
Get some fucking plugs, dude. Seriously.
Or shave it all.
No. Get some... No. Get some
you got
plugs.
A point.
Get yourself a dorky Prince Charles haircut. They need that from you.
Do you know what's
fucking going up there bald as shit, looking like he's 75 years old?
If somebody British dies and they have no family and no will, all that shit goes to the throne. Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
Isn't that a fucking bizarre thing? That's a fact.
That's amazing.
And they generally donate it to charity, but after they take their fees. So they're still accepting money from people that don't have a will and no family.
All of our British
fucking nuts.
That's insane. Yes. By the way, I don't understand that should go. I would assume right to a charity,
right away,
right to some sort of something. But I don't know how we do it here, so I don't know
either. It doesn't go to.
Doesn't go into the general fund.
I don't think it goes there. No,
doesn't go. It
goes to the IRS.
Doesn't go into Trump's golf fund or something.
I don't think it goes to the Parks and Recs. I don't think it goes to anything like that.
Okay, well,
it should go to charity somehow, right?
I don't know. Do they hold it in escrow or something? I don't even know what escrow means. I don't know why I said that. Just sounded like a financial thing to say. It sounded fine. Didn't it sound good? Yeah. You looked at me like, that's a good question.
It's a great question.
You have no idea either.
I don't know what escrow does.
Thank you.
I just know that I've put money in one before, and I don't even know what the fuck it does.
There's money in there.
Holding company? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's a hold.
I think it's a middleman that guarantees. We definitely got his money. Yeah. That's what it is. And then they disperse it after a fee.
That's okay.
That's crazy too.
By the way, UK listeners, all of you guys, not just in England, the whole UK. Right. I don't give a shit. I don't know Scotland, Ireland, wherever the hell you are over there. Wales.
Is Finland?
No, Finland doesn't count. I know that for a fact. As far away, it's just right to the edge of the channel there. Mm-hmm. I really want you to just tweet, email, Facebook, whatever the preferred method of communication to the royal family. I assume you all have a line. Yeah. Whatever the preferred method of communication. Say you'd feel better if Prince William had plugs. I get you're not American. You can't be like, get some plugs, you bald fuck. It's okay to be bald. Totally fine. People go bald. That's great. But he's going to be the fucking king.
That's crazy.
Get a stupid looking wig. No one's going to say shit to you. You're the king. Who cares? Just get some hair on your head.
Somehow they got a decent face on him. You know what I mean? Like that other one, that other guy, the older fella.
Charles?
Yeah. Holy shit.
He looks inbred as fuck.
That's an ugly man.
That's inbreeding.
That's a hideous fella.
That's inbreeding.
You don't want that as king. Thank Christ he'll never be.
That's why genetic diversity.
Yes.
I'd rather have Rusty Torres be king of...
Get some Puerto Ricans up there.
There you go. A Puerto Rican king of England.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing. That would be awesome.
Oh, fucking Fat
Joe. I would love that. Fat Joe having a barbecue out in the front lawn of Buckingham Palace. That's what I want right there.
A big fucking crown with the white shit with the black speckles in it.
77 Cadillac Eldorado with gold rims on it sitting out there. That's what I want.
Just bouncing.
So, yeah. He says, quote, the color of my skin was like gold.
Yeah.
Oh, he's golden. Then we moved to another neighborhood in Brooklyn, one that had lots of kids. It was always packed outside. I went outside and they're checking me out real good, and they asked me my name. I said my name is Junior, okay, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. Oh, did I mention? He's a fucking junior! Wanted to save it for there. He's
so
a
you
junior.
just told him all that because
he's like, I'm junior.
You don't want to try to pronounce this shit.
And they're like, no, you're not fucking junior. Everybody's junior.
Yeah.
Look, well, we'll get to it. Let's do it in their own words on this, and we'll let him explain why he wasn't allowed to be junior in the neighborhood here. In their own words, quote, they said, no, we have plenty of juniors. They said, what's your first name? I told them it was Rosendo. They said I needed a nickname. I really didn't understand this thing with nicknames. One guy called me Rosie. Not only that, he said, you look Rosie. I told my dad my new name. He said, no, you're not Rosie. You're a Rosendo. Rosie, that's a girl's name.
Yeah.
So I had to go back outside.
Yeah.
He had to go back out and tell everybody. You go out there and tell everyone your name's not Rosie.
Can't do it, guys.
Yeah.
It's 56.
Sorry.
I'll beat my ass.
My dad said to come back out here, and I'm supposed to fight anyone who calls me Rosie. I don't know what that. I don't know why.
Knife. When I press this button, a blade comes out.
In the 50s, that's what people would do. Yeah. Parents would send their kids out. They go, they did. Well, you get out there and you fucking don't come back here till you fight them. It's like that's what people would tell their kids.
They'll make somebody bleed for that.
Yeah, and that was everybody told their kids that shit. You could be, anybody, upper class, whatever. And they'd be like, you go out there, young man, you beat his...
beat him in sport.
We'll beat him on the squash court. That's where we'll get him.
Challenge him to pugilism.
Ah, yes. So, he ends up living in, basically Bed-Stuy is where he lived in Brooklyn, for different parts of Bed-Stuy. So he's, it's growing up.
It's a tough area.
It's starting to turn. That's the thing. It's starting to, over the course of the 60s is kind of when Brooklyn made a kind of a turn. In the 50s, Brooklyn is still, doo-woppy.
Really?
It's still, singing around a burning garbage can, type of, it's, have you seen Bronx Tale?
Yeah.
That was like 1961 in the beginning of that movie. Okay. That's kind of what we're talking about.
Got it.
Everything's very, also very racially segregated there. Not by law, but by just choice. It was Italian neighborhood, an Irish neighborhood, Puerto Rican neighborhood, black neighborhood, and they didn't mix.
Very little shop of horrors.
It's a very little shop of horrors. It's weird because my grandfather owned a pizza place in the Bronx back then, and it was in an Irish neighborhood. It was like on the border of other neighborhoods, so like all different people would come there. And so my mother was friends with all sorts of kids, and the Irish people thought that she was Irish because my mother has green eyes and she's like light skinned. So she'd be waiting tables and they go, "What are you working for these fucking guineas for?" And they fucking,
I am.
They tell her, "What are you working for these fucking dirty wops for?" They tell her shit like that, and she'd be like, "Oh well,
that's my dad.
That's kind of my dad." So,
Pretty great wop.
Yeah. Would you like cheese? It's interesting, though. Yeah, the neighborhoods are hilarious.
On that, sir.
Yeah, the neighborhood. That's how it was back then, though. It's just as long as everybody stayed to themselves, nobody complained, which is ridiculous, obviously. But that's how they had. Right. Hey, everything was fine back then. You stay over there, stay over here. Nobody fucking had any problems. Right. Now, all sorts of problems. Like, if everyone stays in their house and doesn't go outside, there won't be any problems either. So why go out? Right. If you're gonna go out and stuff, of course you're gonna get in car accidents. People are gonna murder you. What do you expect? You're going out to fucking dinner, you're gonna get murdered. That's how it works.
What am I doing working for this wop? With words like that, it's clear that you need another whiskey, Mr. Callahan. Yeah, thank you.
They're just like, thank you. But they tip her well because they felt bad for her.
That is nice.
They literally think, it was funny.
Take some fucking that sympathy cash and then giggle all the way to the go and buy you diapers.
All the way back to the cannoli store. All the way back to Arthur Avenue to get your fucking bread. So he says that he first discovered baseball when he was 9. Okay. So he really found it there. He said that he said and it's the Yankees in the 60s. So, I mean, you're coming late 50s. There was still dynasty era Yankees.
Big deal.
Yeah, 61 is Mantle and Maris in the home run race.
Right.
He's 13 years old at that. That shit is like,
it's a big deal.
I mean, that's all anyone cared about in the late 50s was New York, and it was in baseball. It was baseball in New York. So it was a big deal. People in New York cared about it anyway. So he said that it was 9. He went to see his first game. It was a Yankee game, and his idol was Mickey Mantle. And he said, sure enough, there's Mickey Mantle in center field. It's the mid-50s, and it's Mickey Mantle in his fucking prime.
Right.
Like, 1957. He's crushing 50 home runs a year, 40 in the 40s. He's nasty. I mean, drinking every night.
Right.
Carousing.
A monster.
Yeah, getting brought back to the hotel by the police every night. I would love to see if Mickey Mantle lived now, how often he would get arrested. We would need 5 parts for him, because it would be like just so many disorderlies and drunken in Publix, and
he wouldn't play
DUIs.
Today, right? There's no way.
Every time he'd wrap a fucking car around a tree, that would be the end of his career. He used to do that on a weekly basis back then. So much so that he needed like a liver and then another one.
I mean, that's assuming that he could be athletic enough to keep up with the guys today. Too.
Yeah, he was. He was a freak.
You think so?
Back then, he was a freak.
Really,
a freak. Yeah. I mean, he had thighs that were like tree trunks.
Right,
like he wasn't.
Their uniforms didn't let that shit show.
He wasn't like the guys that
all baggy,
and he wasn't even like he wasn't working out. He was drinking every night and eating steak and smoking cigarettes and all that shit. Like if you put him on a modern day diet, dude would have been a freak. I mean, he was fucking fast. He blew his knee out in his rookie year in center field. Before that, he was like the fastest guy in the organization. He wasn't even he was a power guy, but they were looking more at his speed. Yeah. That's how fast he was. And then there was a drain.
How could you tell?
Blew his knee out on a drain pipe in
based on a drain pipe in center field. Why'd they run that shit out there?
He was playing right. It was Joe DiMaggio's last year. Joe DiMaggio was playing center, and they had drain pipes out there so the field wouldn't flood when it rained. And there was all sorts of weird shit. And apparently they came in. Mantle went for a ball. DiMaggio called it. He's the center fielder. He's fucking Joe DiMaggio. Yeah. You're a rookie. You back off.
Back up.
Backed off. Stepped in a drain ditch and blew his knee out. That was that.
Wow.
So then he was never that fast again. He was still pretty fast, but
they all looked super fast because the reels back then.
Babe Ruth looked like a speedster.
Oh my God.
Babe Ruth looked like Vince Coleman.
It's the fastest fat fuck I've ever seen.
Oh my God, just legs like moving. So he said that he was in a center field bleacher seat. This is before there was the black section. I don't mean that in terms of where black people sit. I mean they have a section that they put a black tarp over.
Got it.
And all of it's called the batter's eye in every major league park. So the hitter at the plate can see the ball coming at them instead of fans waving white shit at them to lose the ball. That's what they used to do. People, if you were in the center field bleachers, it was your duty to have something white to put up when the opposing batters were so they couldn't see it. The ball would disappear into the sea of white behind them. That's why it's all blacked out now, so you see the ball against the black background.
Clever.
Yeah, it's called the batter's eye. But back then, they didn't do that. So he's in a center field bleacher seat right behind Mickey Mantle. Said he was screaming Mickey Mantle the whole game. Mickey, 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 all sorts of that shit. He said it was just he was just so enamored by him, watching him make the catch in center field and hit the cutoff man. And he was just like, wow, this is fucking crazy. Like he'd seen this guy on TV, and here he is, which was a big deal back then. It's not like now where now if I piss you off, you just tweet at me. Not that I'm famous, but I mean just anybody. You can. I don't know you personally, and what I'm saying, you can just get a hold of me.
Right.
So I mean, you can do.
That's what Twitter is.
People.
Twitter is not for normal people. Twitter is just a way to streamline hate mail to celebrities. That's what
Twitter
it's
is
for.
a way for normal people to complain about shit that they don't have any control over.
Directly to the person that they don't have any control over.
Yes.
It's fucking horrible.
It's interesting.
It's the worst. It's the worst invention ever.
It's weird.
It's awful.
It's definitely strange.
It's super awful.
Yeah.
And it fucking your phone will be like, hey, come here. Somebody has some shit to say to you.
Somebody is being a douche for no reason.
Right. Somebody hates you.
Yeah.
I
love that. That's my favorite.
God.
Somebody hates you. Come look at it.
It's horrible.
It is.
It's the worst invention on earth. It has to be. There can't be much worse.
I've just gotten to the point now, off subject for a second here. I've just gotten to the point now with social media where it's like, if people are cool and it's somebody who's cool, I try to be as cool as I can back. But if somebody takes the time out of their day to try to be a dick,
just try to upset you,
and just to do that snarky kind of half thing where it's like, he'll look like a dick if he yells at me now. Guess what? Don't care. Don't care.
I'll do it.
Both barrels, motherfucker. It's coming. I don't care. You get a half snarky thing, I'm going to just unload on you. I don't even care. I'm just tired of it. Because why would you take time out of your day to do that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
what is wrong with you? How fucking worthless are you?
It's not even at that point. How sad am I that I've got to talk back? How sad are you that you would initiate?
I'm doing this for society.
Right.
For society.
You need to
be embarrassed in public. You need to be fucking corrected. Because you know how many people around you do eye rolls? How many people around you eye roll?
Right.
Your family,
all day.
Your kids, your fucking spouse, everyone around at work. When you walk in, and they go, Jesus fucking Christ, I wish he would quit or fucking something.
When he calls in, it's so nice.
Isn't it pleasant?
Isn't it great?
That's you.
Right.
That's you. If you wonder why you never eye roll with people, because they wait till you leave to eye roll at you. That's why. Stop. And I'm saying this not for me because I don't care. It means it's easy for me to make fun of you. Right. I don't care. Like that's easy for me.
Or mute. That is the greatest function that ever happened, the mute, because it doesn't tell them that they're blocked, and it doesn't let them know that I don't have to see your dumb shit anymore.
Yeah, that's nice,
so
too.
Great.
That's nice, too.
It's so handy.
Yeah, I'm not a big blocker because
I don't want to give them the fucking satisfaction.
I got a million fuck yous for you, so you can keep coming if you want. I'll
drop them on
fuck you all you want. I'll make more. Like, I don't give a shit. I got them all day. And I have a lot of, like, pent-up angst about everything. I'm a fucking stressed-out guy, so I'll just take it all out on you, which just makes it easier for me. Then I can go be nice to Sarah, be nice to my kids, fucking high-five you when you come over. Get my shit out on you, yeah. Oh, hold on a sec. I got to tell somebody else to go fuck their mother. Thank you. Hold on. In her Gardetto stinking twat.
See,
that's my new one.
Did you get your cock in there next to the right, Chips?
Okay. Way off a 9-year-old's first majestical experience at a baseball game. Sorry, everybody, for that.
Golden 9-year-old.
So he's the skin the color of gold.
Yeah.
In the sun at an afternoon game, screaming at Mickey Mantle.
At the Yankees game.
Shining golden in the sun. He said that he saw Mickey Mantle just motion to the crowd, do like a whatever when they in the beginning, because I think they've been doing it since then where they make you respond to them, the bleacher people. I think that's been going on since the 50s, where you have to be like, you have to the Yankee thing that they do where they chant. The beginning of the game, they chant every player's name until they acknowledge the crowd.
Really?
So if you don't do it, they'll fucking do it the whole.
They'll just chant the whole game until
Derek Jeter, Derek Jeter, Derek Jeter for fucking the whole. All you have to do is this, but you have to do it, or else they will not fucking stop.
Wow,
it's a. Yeah, that's weird.
Oh my God,
it's a thing that they do.
I was just thinking before we started that talk that I would
everybody
hate
but
to
the starting pitcher. You don't fuck with his concentration.
Yeah, right.
Leave
that
him
makes
alone.
Sense. Yeah. Or the closer too. I mean,
the pitchers, they come in at the end, so it's already been done. But in the beginning, when everyone's out there, they don't get any shit. But the rest of the team does.
Did you ever talk to Rod about that? Where how fucking difficult is it to be on that mound trying to keep your head?
I did actually,
and you have assholes in the stands saying what. God love them.
He liked that
the clever ones are
Rod
great.
was great.
Yeah.
Rod was fucking great.
The clever ones I'd love.
He said everybody had the same shit. He'd be like, they either be like, you suck when you're warming up in the bullpen. So Rod would be like, so Rod, he was fucking funny. He'd actually like go walk up to people who were screaming you'd suck, and he'd be like, man, if you said something constructive, that shit could help me. And just everybody would laugh at the person around him. He'd be like, but you suck. That's not telling me shit.
Do anything.
Tell me my elbow's dropping too far when I'm coming in my rotation. Do something to help me, brother. And they would have nothing to say to that. Or
how much pitching coaching you got? Come on.
Or they'd call him trailer trash because he looked like trailer trash. And he'd be like, my trailer's 11,000 square feet, bitch. How big is yours? And he'd turn around, throw another fucking pitch. So, shit like that.
Trailer's twice the size of your house.
Twice 11,000. That's a big. Twice the size of a big ass house. Yeah. So that was his comeback for that.
That's hysterical.
So that's what I mean. He liked that shit though. He liked the razzing.
Yeah.
It's baseball. It feels like baseball. But he says it was. He saw Mickey wave to the crowd, and he was like, "That was for me." Yeah. He saw me golden in the sun. He knew.
There he is.
He knows, man. He said that was that was his moment of like, okay, Mickey gets it.
Yeah,
I get it.
He acknowledged my greatness.
Yeah, he says they interviewed him 14 years later, and he said, how did I feel? He says, oh, wow, forget it. I was so excited I could hardly breathe. Imagine Mickey Mantle waving back at me. Maybe it's weird for me being Puerto Rican to say, but Mickey Mantle was always my hero. Why is that weird?
No, that's not weird at all.
That's fucking weird. Yeah. That's not weird.
He's a great player.
Oh. My heroes were, when I grew up, my heroes were Don Mattingly, Lawrence Taylor, Eddie Murphy. 2 out of those 3 are fucking black. And I didn't be like, it's weird for an Italian kid to like them. They were just great. Who cares?
Bugs was great. And
I didn't give a shit.
We had 0 in common except for that we were both 5'3". And eventually I was not anymore.
You're like,
he still is.
Muggsy, I'll dunk on him, boy. So, yeah, it's not weird, I guess. But maybe if it's in your neighborhood, but I mean, back then there wasn't a lot of, that was when Spanish players were starting to come into the league big, but it was still, I mean, it was just white guys and black guys playing at that point. And Mickey Mantle was so good, it didn't matter. Yeah. He said, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, in the neighborhood where I grew up, we idolized Mantle so much, we simply couldn't see anybody better than him. When I was a little kid, I used to say, I'd like to play left field or right for the Yankees just so I could be next to Mantle, but it couldn't be. Because as we'll talk about,
what a thing!
Yeah, that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to just fucking bask in the glow of Mickey Mantle. He wasn't like, I want to take Mickey Mantle's spot. Right. I want to be his successor.
Stand next to the guy.
Yeah, he said, I play center, but I just want to stand next to Mickey Mantle. That's all I fucking wanted, which is really interesting. I think it's the kind of guy he is. He's kind of a team guy when it comes from that. He says that there's a buddy of his who is from the old neighborhood, talking about him later on, a guy named Angel Ramos.
Yeah.
He says the first thing was his name, Rosendo. In Bedford-Stuyvesant, where he comes from, they thought Rosendo was too ugly, so they called him Rusty. That's a very tough neighborhood. Other kids coming out of there would mess around with drugs, alcohol, and whatnot. Never Rusty. He has character. I know because I played ball with him here on the Sandlots. When he started playing professionally in the minors, he never forgot his friends. He keeps coming back to the old neighborhood. He talks to the guys, shares his experiences, watches our games, and gives us tips. He's a very impressive person. So he's one of the guys where it's, when he goes home, it's not bad.
Yeah.
He's not going home to fuck around with his old buddies who he was, who he was doing drugs with and shit. He was just playing baseball, so he's going home to talk to the old baseball guys, and he's immersed in baseball, this guy, and that's, a lot of people were back then, the players, and like now they have a lot of other, even the professionals have a lot of other shit going on. Whereas back then they didn't do anything else. They didn't think about anything else but baseball. That was all they cared about.
It's just what you do.
Yeah, they thought about in the off season, if I do this, it's gonna keep my elbow in shape, and like that's all they gave a shit about. So he said that he was never a bad kid, Rusty. He said he never believed in taking dope, is what he said.
Oh boy,
that's old man shit right there. He said, quote, how old man is this? I never believed in taking dope or mugging people.
Well, okay.
Good.
One of those doesn't fit with the other, though.
Well,
they're not equal.
No, I mean, he thinks in the neighborhood people are doing stuff like that, and he's like, I never did any of that.
They're different guys.
Yeah, they're usually different guys. I
mean, they can be the same guy. They can be the same guy. Drugs, but generally different guys.
Different guys, yeah. He said, but all he ever wanted to do was play professional baseball, and that's all he gave a shit about. Nothing else. He didn't want to get mixed up in that.
He's Benny Rodriguez from the Sandlot.
That's kind of what he is, yeah. Or Benny Rusty Torres. Dirty Benny Sanchez. That's it. So he says, quote, there's no reason a boy can't turn out well, whether he's from Bed-Stuy or anywhere else. He said, no matter where you come from, you always have a conscience, and that conscience allows you to choose between good and bad. In my own case, I always wanted to be a ball player. I asked God to help me become one, and now I thank him for the ability he gave me.
Yeah.
That's all he would go to bed at night praying for baseball ability.
Oh.
I mean, he is.
I did the same.
Johnny
didn't work out.
Didn't work for you? Yeah. That's why Jimmie's not into religion.
There was still a Puerto Rican answering prayer Jesus back then.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer white kids in North
Colorado.
Phoenix.
Well, I think by then it was also later.
Yeah.
So I think he was just, the population had swelled. He was
all out of wishes.
Very busy by then. He's handing out baseball talent left and right. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to distribute it down. I'm distributing it in the Dominican for a while right now. I'll get back to you.
That's all I got left.
I'm just going to sprinkle the islands. I'm going to fucking carpet bomb them with talent. Fuck off, Colorado.
We'll come back to America later.
It's fine. We've got a couple of people here, but
there's enough of you in those leagues.
Plenty. On the way back from Venezuela, we'll hit you.
We might take a trip through Turks and Caicos and have a little vacation.
There we go. He played stickball growing up.
That was
his thing. Again,
huge thing.
1958 in New York City.
Crack open a fire hydrant, play some stickball.
That's all stickball. Yeah, this is like the stereotypical. You can hear doo-wop music.
Yeah,
people singing it, and it's all it is, man. It's just white T-shirts and greased hair as far as the eye can see.
Soda shoppy.
Oh, boy, the soda shoppy. He said, there used to be this thing that announcers would say. He swings like a rusty gate. Here I am playing stickball. I couldn't play. I was only about 8 years old. I was horrible. They gave me a bat I couldn't hit. One of the guys, whose name was Manuel, looks at me and says, hey, Rusty, we're going to call you Rusty. Not only that, but you are rusty. You swing like a rusty gate and you look rusty.
Oh, that stings.
Fucking
kids are ruthless.
Yeah, and this is back east. Yeah. This is just how your friends talk to you. Hey, look at this fucking piece of shit. That's your buddy.
Terrible fuck.
That's your buddy.
We can't call you terrible fuck, but Rusty kind of embodies
that's
all
your
of
best friend. It's your best friend. If somebody came up and messed with you, he would punch that person in the face, no questions asked. But before that, you need to take abuse. That's how...
You got to get called a rusty gate.
That's how East Coast...
God, you are fucking terrible at this. I can't just in front of people call you fucking terrible. No, that's not nice.
Just Rusty. Hey, Rusty, which is worse.
Then you and I will know that I'm calling you fucking terrible, but they won't know.
They won't know. You know the Rusty Gate baseball swing. Yeah, it's a bad swing.
It's terrible.
It's a gate. It's just
slow. It's slow. Crooked.
It's not good.
No.
So
helping anything.
Sweeping. So he said that was it. No more Junior, no more Rosendo, all Rusty from then on. All Rusty. He said originally when he was in Brooklyn, he said, when we moved to DeKalb Avenue, our apartment faced a small schoolyard. It was New York City to the core. The neighborhood had people from many different ethnic groups, and practically every kid had some crazy nickname. So a lot of them are from different backgrounds and fucking pronounce each other's names. Just, you're Rusty. Fuck it.
I love it.
There you go. This is awesome. He says, we play stickball, handball, and ace, king, queen, and all the other city games. I don't know what ace, king, queen is.
I'm assuming it has
like a 60s
cards,
game.
Right?
I don't know, honestly. That could be like a 60s game. I'm not sure.
It could be jacks. We don't know.
That's what I mean. We have no idea. The playground wall was right downstairs alongside my building. We played several kinds of stickball. Our main game was fast pitching, where you threw the ball against a box chalked up on the wall. You didn't run bases, but you would get hits according to the distance of the shot, which is like playing wiffle ball, basically. It's the same general thing. In the small court by the house, if the outfielders caught the ball off the opposite wall from the plate, you were out. If you got really good, you could knock the ball against the school wall and have it return all the way back to the wall by my house. Wow. This was an automatic home run.
Holy shit.
If you could crack it to where it bounced all the way back, it was an automatic home run.
That's a fun game.
This sounds great, by the way. I'm like really into this.
It's like a 13-year-old coming into your own. That sounds great.
I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, this sounds awesome. He says when traffic was light, we'd play stickball games in the street, usually with bounce pitching. The pitcher would fluke the ball to add some spin. You'd kind of step up and hit it on one bounce and then run out the bases. In another game, we'd go out in the street and just hit by ourselves for distance to see how many sewers we could reach. Because there's a sewer.
See how many manhole lids we can get.
Exactly. How far down the street that is.
That's awesome.
But all the kids were so into baseball. It's not like now where the kids, it's like a specialized thing. If some kid's into baseball, it's like, oh, he's on a traveling team. He's in a baseball. She's doing softball.
He doesn't need ice cream.
No, but no.
We don't give him any sweets.
He gets no sweets. No. Rusty. But he back then, just baseball was every kid's thing. They just went outside and played baseball. Right. I mean, football was not a big deal yet in America. No. It really wasn't. Yeah. Football wasn't. Basketball was like, people didn't even know it existed back then. It was all fucking white guys, for Christ's sake. You think the game was fun to watch?
Yeah.
Bill Russell wasn't even in the league yet.
And the amount of people that are unrecognizable that were on the NFL 100 team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The amount of people on there that I guarantee you the vast majority of America
they're a hardcore
have no
fan.
fucking clue who those people are.
They've been watching NFL films since they were 7 like us.
But from the 80s, you recognize all those names because that's when it started to get big.
That's when it was huge.
The late 70s.
It was the Giants-Colts was a 1959 championship game that kind of blew it up. That was the Johnny Unitas, all that. But that was like, football became like, oh, everyone took, what the hell was that all about? And then it kind of started. But like over the 60s, that's when it really started to get grip. And then by the 70s, it started to equal baseball. And by the 80s, it overtook it. So
you get the Steelers and all that shit going, the
Browns. Yeah. Steelers and Cowboys. And they had those
get the Midwest.
Steelers, Cowboys, Raiders in the 70s. And the Dolphins with the undefeated team and all that shit. So
that's when it takes hold.
That's when it takes hold. Plus they expanded. So it's, there was teams in late 60s. They put teams in New Orleans.
All over the place.
New Orleans, Miami in the 60s. All the AFL teams came in. So, he's he said he wasn't good at first. He's not a natural.
Okay.
Very much so. He said he had to really work hard at it. He said, quote, "To be honest, I wasn't too good when I started. I would strike out all the time, but I was very determined and kept hanging around with the big kids. When they realized they couldn't chase me away, they started to teach me the game. I got good because I was competing with people who were older than me," which is smart. That's good. Yeah. They just like, that's obviously best competition you can play. You're going to get better. So he started playing Little League after that, though, to play hardball, regular baseball, and then continued into, school leagues and stuff. He played at New York Vocational High School in Jamaica, New York, which is in Queens there. That's
50 cents from.
There you go. It's from a lot of people are from Jamaica, Queens. So yeah, that's where he ends up in high school. And out of that, at 17 years old, okay? Yeah. And this is back then they did, but more kids got drafted out of high school than college, where it's kind of the reverse now.
Got it.
Because they figure teams are like, why should we take care of them for 4 years? Let fucking college get all that shit out of the way, and then we'll take them. We don't have to pay them for 4 years. So here, though, it's different. They wanted kids young so they could teach them their way. And June 7th, 1966 is the Major League Baseball amateur draft of 1966, which is awesome.
Yeah.
This is cool as shit. Really cool shit. First overall that year. Give you a guess, Jimmy.
I wouldn't be able to guess anybody from the 70s.
You'd know. You're going to know who number 2 is anyway.
Expos even in the league yet?
Okay. Steve Chilcott, number 1.
No.
You know who he is?
No.
Actually, very interesting. Chilcott was chosen first overall, and you'll shit yourself when you hear who's second, because the Mets are stupid, basically. Drafted by them in 1967 was his second season in the minors. He hurt his shoulder while playing in the minors, and he was a base runner. He dove back toward the base and hurt his shoulder.
Oh no!
So that ended his season. Nothing but injuries from then on. They ended up being released 4 years later in 1971. He signed with the Yankees, and he was released after only a few games in the minors. He never played higher than AAA.
Ouch.
He is one of only 3 number 1 draft picks that are not playing anymore that have never played a major league game.
Only 3.
3
and he
in the history
of
the major leagues. Mark Appel in 2013, because I think he retired now. And you know who the other is?
No.
Brian Taylor.
Oh no!
Our guy here that we covered a while back there. Brian
Holy shit.
fucking Taylor. Yep, that's the 3 guys in history that have been drafted number 1 overall, never played a major league game. Never played a game. Number 2 overall, this makes it hurt even more if you're the Mets.
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer who drove the early 70s A's dynasty for years, and
top
then the Yankees
10
and then,
of all time. Probably top 5 of all time.
565 home runs, and also most strikeouts.
October.
Mr. fucking October, the straw that stirs the drink himself. Reggie Jackson.
The number 2 pick. Behind that dick.
Behind that guy who never played a game. So nice pick, Mets. And they knew they picked him at Arizona State. He had played college ball.
Where did he go to first? Did he go to the Yankees first?
No. The A's.
Oh, the A's.
They were the Kansas City A's when they drafted him. Moved to Oakland. He was on Oakland, and then he ended up with the Yankees. There was a transitional. Who the hell was he with? Baltimore. He was with Baltimore for half a season.
The Orioles?
When the A's traded him to Baltimore to play out his contract. Then he was a free agent, and then the Yankees signed him.
Got him.
And he went from there. He had the Angels. Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Everyone should know that.
Yeah.
From Must Kill the Queen.
Right.
So
the baseball bat?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Ken Brett is number 4 overall, who is George Brett's brother, Claude Lemieux. I know that for a fact. Ken Brett is definitely George Brett's brother. No, he's definitely George Brett's brother. Tom Grieve, who's a major league executive now, Ben Grieve's father, the ex-player. A lot of guys like that, a lot of managers in here and shit like that.
That makes sense in the 60s.
Yeah, guys.
That's where they should be.
Coming from that era.
Dusty Baker.
Johnny Oates, 19. He's the old Ranger manager there. Steve Garvey, who was future All-Star. He's drafted by the Twins that year. Cliff Johnson, he's like one of the best pinch hitters of all time. Cliff Johnson, the Astros. Dave Cash, Charlie Huff. You remember Charlie Huff?
No.
He's one of the guys. Reggie Jackson hit some of his 3 home runs in the World Series game off of Charlie Huff. Knuckleballer.
Yeah.
Ken Forsch, Bill Russell, not that Bill Russell. No. Ken Stabler, actually that Ken Stabler, actually, yes, drafted by the Yankees.
Got a hell of an arm.
And didn't play that though. Ron Say, the Penguin there. So guys like that. Kurt Bavakwa, the bubble gum blowing champion.
Really?
Yeah, remember that baseball?
No.
There's an old baseball card where he's got a bubble that's bigger than his head.
Really?
They did.
That is genius.
Yeah, Topps did a baseball a ball player bubble gum blowing contest.
Great.
And so he was the winner with a bubble bigger than his head.
Or at least we think, because we don't know who's
it could have been anybody behind there. So that's all there. In the 54th round, that's how many rounds they had. There was even more. But in the 54th round, pick 811. 811.
They pick a whole new league every year?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Back then, there was so many minor league teams. They had each, especially like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cardinals. They had 20, 25 minor league teams that they would distribute these guys to.
Is that
they needed bodies.
Yeah, but was that a big industry of like money making?
It
for
was
that?
Not really, but it was every small town had its own little team,
they've got to be
come and it would be operational.
So much money into that.
Yes and no, because the way their work is like they're supported. There's actually a lawsuit going on right now. They're trying to avoid a lawsuit between minor league baseball and major league baseball going on right now. Yeah, because the major leagues they don't want to support the minor leagues financially. They want them to just fuck you guys, struggle financially, then give us finished products, please.
We want you to be college football.
Exactly, which isn't really, that's not how it works. Baseball isn't college football. It's just a different thing. You
shouldn't get to benefit
reps
from our guys if we're doing all the hard work. And how about pump some money into this and then you can do it. Get us better facilities. Get us better stadiums.
And it depends on the team, because they're privately owned, but then they're also hooked up to this team, so they have to. Yeah. It's weird because if you own a minor league team, you're like at the mercy of the major league team. Let's say you have a guy who everybody wants to come see. When the major league team calls him up, he's just gone. That's it.
That's the end of your gravy train.
Yeah, that's all. So it's interesting. Anyway, so he's drafted pick 811. Rusty is drafted by the New York Yankees. So
is that right?
Absolutely. 1966. By the way, Mickey Mantle's still playing in 1966. So depending on how much longer Mickey Mantle plays, he's got a chance to play.
Better work your ass off, Rusty.
Exactly. 1967 to 1970, he does just that. He appears in 1967. He plays for Fort Lauderdale. He plays for Greensboro, Oneonta, Johnson City, all these different teams. And these are all A-ball teams. Yeah. That's how many teams the Yankees had.
Single A?
Single A. They had 2 A's, an A- league, and a rookie league that he played in. They had and they probably had more. Those are just crazy. Those are just single A's, and then the doubles and triples. It's ridiculous. So, he plays all through here. He doesn't do too terrible here in 67 as well. 75 games, 234 plate appearances. He hits 247. Which isn't terrible. 351 slugging, which isn't bad either. Yeah. He's 18 years old, for Christ's sake. I mean, he's just left home. 57 walks, 42 strikeouts. So more walks than strikeouts as a kid. Yeah. That's promising. Hell yeah. They're looking at him going, that's not too goddamn shabby. Not too bad at all. So steals 6 bases. 68 plays mainly for Fort Lauderdale. He hits 229 that year. Not so great. 126 games he plays in, 417 plate appearances. The next year, 69, he plays for Kingston, and that's single A again. These are all more single A teams he's playing for the Yankees. 139 games, he hits 270 that year, which is promising. 13 home runs, 11 triples, he's got speed, 26 doubles, 49 ribbies, 14 steals. That's good. Yeah. I mean, this is like, they're starting to look at this kid as something. Unfortunately, that in 68, Mickey Mantle retires at the end of the season. So he's never going to get to play with Mickey Mantle.
God damn it.
Regardless here. 1970, he's playing for the Manchester Yankees in Double-A. Yeah. And he tears a knee ligament that year, misses a good chunk of the 1970 season with a torn knee ligament. He only appeared in 41 games, and he bats .244 that year. So that was just an injury-plagued nightmare for him. Still, though, in 71, they promote him to AAA. In 71. He plays for the Syracuse Chiefs, where this is when he comes into his own. In 133 games, he hits .290 with 19 home runs.
That's not bad.
That's something. That's like, whoa, they're looking at him like, something. So he ends up making his MLB debut the next year here in 71. 71, he breaks his wrist early in the year in the minors, which sucks because this was his year. And then, but he worked hard. He said, quote, "I used a stickball bat to help me regain my swing speed and strength. Still, I definitely lost some of my power, and it affected both my hitting and throwing." And a wrist injury like that too.
That's where everything.
There's so many.
So fragile.
Now, if you break your wrist, there's a lot of like rehab and different surgeries, and they're very careful with it. Back then, I'm not sure how. I don't think they were that particular with it. So a wrist can really fuck up your swing. Baseball, a swing, especially power, your wrists are all, forearms.
Snaps.
You ever seen Hank Aaron's forearms and wrists? They're like, holy shit, he could crush your skull with those things. That's why he could hit home runs. It's all in his wrists.
I watched Reggie Sanders get a forearm tattoo, and it took them longer to do his forearm tattoo than it took to do my armpit to my hip. On my whole side. And he got a forearm tattoo. I was done, and he's like, "I'll see you around."
I'm telling you, look at any great major league hitter. Look at their forearms because the way they can manipulate that bat around, their forearms are like Popeye.
There's a lot of landscape there.
It really is a lot of landscape. So the 1971 Yankees, he's going to end up being called up. Makes his major league debut September 20th, 1971, which is late in the season. This team, man, I mean, it's past the Yankee glory days. They haven't been to the World Series in a while. They're on the downswing. The stadium's falling apart. They're about to remodel the stadium in 3 years. The CBS owns the team right now, and Steinbrenner hasn't even bought it yet.
Really?
And they just want to sell it. This is the bad times for the Yankees.
Stinks.
Yeah, this stinks. This is a total Gardetto season. All Gardetto this season. But this Thurman Munson was up this year. This was like his second year. Bobby Mercer, Roy White, Gene Michael, who was their general manager for a while later on, Felipe Alou, we all know is on this team. I mean, there's a lot of, guys like Ron Swoboda, Ron Bloomberg, remember that name, he'll come up later.
A lot of names. Mel Stottlemyre was on this team, was the pitching coach forever. It's also a couple guys named Fritz Peterson and Kekich here, Mike Kekich. Have you ever heard of these guys? You never heard of Fritz Peterson and Mike Kekich? Think so.
Okay.
Are they fucking train robbers? That's what they sound like.
Crazier than that.
Okay.
If you're a baseball fan, you've probably heard this story and whatever. Tune it out for a second. But if you're not a baseball fan, this fucking happened.
Yeah.
This is the 70s. I think it was 4 years later, 74 or 75. Fritz and Mike decided, they were good friends, best friends. They decided to swap
wives.
Not just wives, whole lives.
What?
Houses, dogs, kids, everything.
What do you... Not just for a night?
No.
Forever.
They literally traded lives.
I like your life. Do you like mine?
Yeah.
Why don't I take yours?
That's it. They literally traded wives, they're fucking dogs they traded. I get wives and kids, but your dog, he doesn't know any. He's got to think that's really weird.
You're absolutely right. Train robbing is much more...
less weird than trading your life with someone.
This isn't
a little swinging. Like, whatever. It's the 70s. We'll trade lives. And one of them... turned out happily ever after. They loved it. The other one, after like a month, decided they didn't want to do it anymore and said, "Hey, never mind." And the other couple was like, "No, we're happy. We're good." And that was that. So they ended up breaking up. It destroyed his life. They were thought of as weirdos in baseball. One of them ended up in Japan playing because it ruined them. They had
It's the original wife swap, that TV show.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
Where they switch
Absolutely.
lives. But it's only for like 2 days, and
this
they're
is
like,
forever.
we gotta go back. They just decided to do it.
Not to mention, they didn't do it like on the sly and people found out. They held a press conference to tell everyone they were doing it. Literally at a joint press conference.
What the fuck?
People are like, why are two relief pitchers like having a goddamn press conference? Like, what do they have, cancer or something? Like, everyone was like, what's going on? And then they announced that. Everyone was like, did that just happen?
I kind of wish
what a weird story.
I wish the news was cancer. This is much weirder.
So weird. I can't wrap my head around this shit.
I can absorb cancer. I can understand that happened.
My grandfather had cancer.
This doesn't happen.
My grandfather didn't swap wives and dogs and kids with his neighbor, with his buddy from the factory. That didn't happen.
My grandfather, the guy in the next barber chair, didn't,
This hasn't happened since.
No, not publicly. No one announced this, maybe because it worked out so poorly.
Right.
Well, for half of them, it worked out. For the other half, they worked out great.
50-50.
I think they were still together 40 years later.
Unbelievable.
So anyway, September 20th, 1971 is when old Rusty Torres makes his debut.
Okay.
So it's a weird team is what I'm getting at. It's against Baltimore.
Yeah, this is a far cry from Babe Ruth and
this is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
This is not
it's
Roger
not criminal.
Maris no.
They're not hurting anybody else. It might be a little weird on the kids, but I mean, other than that, it's fine. Do whatever you want.
It's a bizarre life.
It's just strange.
Yeah.
If they just said, hey, we switched wives, as bizarre as that is, don't get me wrong, that is truly fucking bizarre. As bizarre as that is,
right.
It's almost like, okay, I guess you just whatever. I don't know what you're into sexually or whatever, but to be like, this is my dog now,
right? That guy's daughter is now my daughter.
It's so weird.
That's fucked up.
It's so fucking strange.
He's not going to see you anymore. I'm your dad now.
Yeah, he's Uncle Mike now.
Right.
That's how it is.
That's Uncle Mike.
Remember how I was Uncle Fritz? Now I'm Dad, and he's Uncle Mike. What? Weird shit.
An old shadow over there. The dog is now mine.
Yeah. So 10 days after his major league debut, where he had a single in 4 at-bats against Baltimore, 10 days later, on September 30th, 1971, is the Washington Senators' last game in Washington.
Really?
Last game. This is also his 23rd birthday, Rusty's birthday here. The Senators were leading 7-5 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th when Horace Clark steps up to the plate for the Yankees. And now Torres is on deck here, and he already had 2 hits, including a home run this day. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just all of a sudden, Senators fans stormed the field. Pissed off. They were leaving, pissed off or whatever, and causing the game to be forfeited to New York.
Really?
Yeah, they stormed the field. The game was over. That was it.
Don't leave us. Well, now it's over.
They were winning, and now they lost that game.
Wow.
So Torres says, quote, Bobby Mercer hits a ground ball, gets thrown out at first. They thought it was 3 outs. It was only 2 outs. That's what it was. They thought it was 3, so they just rushed the field to start tearing it apart.
Wow.
Souvenirs and shit, because the Senators have been there forever. And
that's unreal.
The game wasn't over.
It's like tearing down the goalposts at Lambeau Field.
Yeah. Hey, there's a minute 20 left. There's enough time for a 2-minute drill, guys. What are we doing? It would be like, in the Super Bowl, if like minute 30 left.
Well, you idiots.
Tear the goalpost down. San Francisco's up by 3, so it's over. So Rusty continues, quote, and they rushed us. They rushed the field. They took dirt. People were taking dirt, taking the bases. They were tearing up seats. It was unbelievable. That was a real scary experience. Thankfully, none of us got hurt.
Yeah.
That's rough, man. That's crazy. So and he only has 26 at-bats this year, but he hits .385.
That's great.
In 26 at-bats with 2 home runs.
Yeah.
He looks promising. Right. He's only up for, 10 days, and he looks promising here. 71, the Yankees finished 82-80, which is 4th in the... It's not good. They were pretty lame here. Not too great. So September 29th, 71, the day before this, though, he won an award in the minor leagues for that year. He won International League Rookie of the Year. So it was the first AAA here. He captured 13 of the 23 votes for that, and Carlton Fisk was also up for the running for that.
Wow.
Longtime catcher of the White Sox and Red Sox.
I saw a baseball card of his in an antique shop in fucking Manchester, and I almost bought that for you. I was like,
fucking
wonder
great.
if James would have liked that.
I love Carlton Fisk.
I'll remember that next time I see shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
It was
like
like
any
$10, James.
Oh, that's great.
It was so cheap.
I love old baseball.
Everything like that up there is so cheap.
That's great.
Old baseball shit in antique shops.
Yeah, we found
They don't
it
know
all.
what they've got.
It's in an old lady's attic. She don't
Right.
know nothing. She was a fucking lush, that one, I'll tell you.
Smells like Gardettos. That's got to make it less valuable.
The whole house is filled with Gardettos. It's just so weird. So he batted .290 in 133 games, 25 doubles, 7 triples, 19 home runs, 71 runs in the minors that year. And so 1972, he said that the next year he comes up, and this year they're looking at him as like an opening day starter, not a starter, but like on the team. The coaches called his attitude completely professional. They said that the next thing that makes you take notice of him is his arm. They said he has a really great arm from the outfield, and they're very interested in that. He's a switch hitter also,
That's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle's his idol. So
Right.
Mickey Mantle caused a lot of switch hitting. It's weird. You don't see as many switch hitters now.
Right.
It's a dying art, switch hitting, because now they want you to be so specialized.
Yeah.
They're like, well, they don't want you to do things like that. But back then, there was so many switch hitters, kids would come up idolizing guys that were switch hitters, and they would be switch hitters. It's kind of sad that there's no I love a switch hitter.
So cool.
It's fucking cool as shit.
Last one I think I saw, it was Danny Bautista was a switch hitter, wasn't he?
I don't remember. There's been a few great ones. Like Bernie Williams was a great switch hitter. He won a batting title switch hitting. So, I mean, you could do it, but just they want kids to then you can't they want you to be so specialized on your swing that if you switch and go to the other side, you're
now we got to refine all that shit again.
Yeah, it's so weird now. They're looking him up. Ralph Houck, who is the manager at the time, he says, I don't consider him a platoon player. He's a boy who should eventually play every day.
Wow.
So they're not even looking at him as a side guy. Like, he's going to be a starter. He said he's thrilled with it. He's just, he said he's not overwhelmed by it, but he's so excited about it. He said that, he's going to play center field, or he's going to play right field for the Yankees here. Yeah, he's like, this is crazy. Like, I'm going to play.
Rusty, you did it.
Yeah, right field for the Yankees. And he says, they ask him what he thinks about it, about the lineage of Yankee right fielders that he's going to join, and he thinks about it, and he says, quote, Maris, Bauer, that's as far back as I go. Mm-hmm. And they said, what about Babe Ruth?
Yeah.
He played right field. Torres said, quote, I didn't even know that. So, okay.
Didn't know where Babe played?
Didn't know Babe. You didn't know you're standing where Babe Ruth stood for like 15 years.
On the same grass.
Literally in the same grass.
Right
you
there.
should see the indentation under his fat feet.
You should know the size of his shoes.
Absolutely. But yeah, he says he even got to meet Mickey Mantle for the first time. He came to spring training. He got to meet Mickey Mantle. He was jacked. He said, quote, I said, hello. That was it. What can you say? He said, he put his fingers together small, and he says, you feel this big next to him.
Yeah.
He's fucking Mickey Mantle.
Right.
You're a rookie.
But that's your favorite guy you've been watching. You don't even say, there was once that I shouted your name, and then you waved
to me.
And I thought it was for me alone.
Mickey would have went, you play for the team? What now? Oh, shit.
You need me to sign a ball for you, young man?
Where's Billy Martin? We're going to go have some cocktails. That's what Mickey Mantle would have said. So, 72, the Yanks are 79 and 76 that year. He plays in 80 games, so that's half the season. Platoons, 199 at bats. He only hits 211 with 3 home runs, 13 RBI.
Yeah.
So he's not playing every day, but he's still, you want more from him.
Sure.
You wanted to step up. He makes $13,500
Hell
year,
yeah.
which I did the calculation, and for inflation in 2019 money, that is $82,568.65.
Wow, from 75?
From 72.
72?
Yeah.
$13,000 then is almost 90 grand today.
Yep, 82 grand.
Wow.
82 and a half. Grace.
Are you serious?
He's met Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
He made $82,000.
Yeah.
He played where Babe Ruth stood without even knowing it. Grace. That's it. It only goes downhill from here.
That's awesome.
So November 27th, 1972, he is traded by the Yankees, which is kind of a blow for him. Traded with John Ellis, who had a couple of good seasons with Cleveland and then kind of petered out, and a guy named Jerry Kennedy, who was done playing after the 73 season, and a guy named Charlie Spikes, who's a 246 lifetime average. They trade all of these guys to Cleveland, going from the Yankees to the Indians back then. Yikes, playing at that terrible stadium they had. For Jerry Moses, who was a former All-Star, but he was about done, and Greg Nettles, who became a huge part of the Yankee cog of the machinery for those late 70s World Series teams.
He became Greg Nettles.
Greg Nettles, yeah. He's number 9. Yeah. It's weird. It's retired Roger Maris, but he wore it too because it wasn't retired yet when he wore it. So yeah, he was number 9
That's
also.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's strange. So he wore that. Greg Nettles, a great, amazing defensive third baseman.
So Greg Nettles wore that after Maris. I would just be like, they retired because of me.
Yeah, it's me. That's mine.
Obviously.
But he was on those 70s teams. Amazing defensive third baseman.
So great.
And had one of the coolest fights with George Brett you ever want to see at third base. YouTube, but it's great.
George Brett's a tough man.
They slide in and he slides in and they just start brawling. It's like they had a scheduled brawl. Like you slide in, pop up, and we start throwing punches.
Hey, listen,
cool.
He left like a note in his locker. If you want to fight, check yes by sliding in.
Yeah. Greg Nettles did something to him that was so dirty that Thurman Munson came over to like lay on top of Brett to protect him because he was afraid.
Kill him.
They're going to kill him. Yeah, and they were good friends, Greg Nettles and George Brett. It's weird. Yeah, George Brett was like, I don't know why that happened. It was weird. It was a rivalry with the team, is why. But
they probably became friends after that because that's what guys do.
No, before that they were good. They were close friends. And it was like they just started fighting because of the rivalry. They said that's how weird the rivalry was. Like we were good buddies and we were throwing punches at each other for no reason. We hadn't even been in an argument.
How long did Thurman Munson play before he crashed?
I want to say 9 years.
Quite a while.
70 was his rookie year.
Long enough for people to fall in fucking love with him.
He was the captain of the Yankees. He was the last captain until Don Mattingly, and then they put him in, and that's why the Yankee captain thing was a big deal.
Yeah,
that's why
because of Thurman Munson.
After Mattingly, there was no captain until they made Derek Jeter captain, 8 years after Mattingly retired. It's like you have to be an icon to be the captain of the Yankees type of thing.
Stick around New York a while.
It's a weird thing. Yeah, it's a weird position with them. It's strange. Wow. He said though, they asked him about the trade. He said that he wasn't excited. He thought he was the right fielder of the future of the Yankees. That's what they told him. That's what he thought. He said, quote, I felt bad about the trade, but I wasn't that upset. When you're traded, you have to look forward to doing the job with your new team, which is what you have to say in the press here. He seems more relaxed. He is Oscar Gamble with the best afro in the history of baseball. Right. He's the guy with the hat with the afro sticking out of it.
Like, why do I know that name?
Yeah,
because you love his card.
Yeah, he played for the Indians at this point too, and this Rusty beat Oscar Gamble out for a starting spot in right field. Okay. He says, quote, the big difference is that I wasn't in the opening lineup with the Yankees last year. He says, and I'm in the opening lineup here. So he feels like he's on Cleveland. Yeah. So he says, he could be, he's upset though. He can try to couch it all he wants. He's a little bit upset. I mean, he can be mad at being traded to Cleveland. That's understandable.
Anybody would be.
But what he can't be mad at is the sales, Jimmy. Oh my God, the sales.
How much can you buy Cleveland for?
If you happen to be, this paper's from Passaic, New Jersey. Okay. If you happen to be in Passaic, New Jersey in April of 1973, you are in luck because there are some sales that you can get a hold of. I found a 72 Vega, 72 Chevy Vega hatchback coupe, one owner, used
$1,
$1,695, $1,695.
That's too much.
It's a year-old car, mind you, by the way. A 70 Camaro, which is a fucking bitchin' car.
Yeah.
This car right now would be worth
probably
$40,000 probably $40,000, if it was done nice. 70 Camaro Sport Coupe Air Turbo.
Hell yeah,
dude! This is the top of the line.
That's the shit.
One owner, $2,195. Wow. $2,195.
Solid roof, T-tops. What is that? That's a solid
coupe.
Roof.
It's a coupe.
Okay, yeah.
Sport coupe.
2-door, yeah. That's a nice car.
A turbo. Yeah. That thing was fast and awesome. That thing was fun. A 70 Kingswood wagon. That's what you want. Yeah. I see wood paneling on that bitch. Turbo also.
What?
Air conditioning turbo, $2,095. 70 Ford wagon, extra clean, one owner, $1,995.
Okay.
In and out. 70 Volkswagen, 2-door, cream puff.
Is it a bug?
I think so. It's a 70 Volkswagen. They didn't have a lot of models.
Well, they had
a bus and a bug.
They got the notchback, the fastback. They're all like sedans, though.
113. Does that mean anything?
113.
It says 113, and then it says 2-door R and H. New tires.
R and H, right hand. Or wait, no.
R and H.
R and H. I don't know what any of those are.
H. Cream puff! Exclamation point.
It's cream.
$1,395.
Okay.
69 Ford wagon, $1,695. 68 Cadillac Eldorado, full power air. Awesome. 1995.
Wow.
That is awesome. 68 Sedan DeVille Cadillac. Air, power, everything. One owner, 1995. 68 Ford LTD, $1,395.
That's a piece of shit.
That's a piece of shit. 67 Buick, $595. 65 Cadillac Sedan.
Now you're talking.
$795.
What a deal.
What a deal. Get yourself on down to Irwin Used Car in Passaic, New Jersey. Or when you're done with that, get in your car and drive on over to what the hell is this? But Nat's Oyster Bar.
Yes.
Over there in Passaic, where there's something fishy going on.
Oh no.
That is a terrible.
Not for food.
That is their Jimmie, that's their slogan. It's in bold letters on their advertisement.
For food.
You bet your sweet filet there is, that says after that.
Oh my God. God.
What a shore dinner, like the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Where? Nat's Oyster Bar in Clifton, New Jersey. When? Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights. That's the only time they're open. What do I get? It says shrimp or clam cocktail, our famous Manhattan clam chowder, and all the salad you can eat. And 4 rock lobster tails, potato and vegetable, coffee, tea, milk, and dessert. $5.95.
That's a deal.
4 lobster tails, full meal,
$6.
get jerked off under the table, $6.
But they did it like a birthday invitation.
Yeah.
What?
What
When?
do I get?
Where?
What time? What do I bring? And then it says,
Bring your swimsuit.
there's more here. Does that price include everything?
Yeah.
It says yes, and even the doggy bag if you can't finish it all. Hey, that's great, but my wife doesn't like flounder. Well, you can let her choose from over 100 seafood and non-seafood entrees, or leave her home and bring your girlfriend.
What?
It says this. Get the fuck out, Jimmie.
Leave her home.
Or leave her home and bring your girlfriend. Plus all the wine and beer you can bring. It's a
bring your own. BYOB.
Fuck, this place rules.
BYOB, we won't tell your wife.
Dude, it's a BYOB cheat shack. This place is fucking crazy.
This place is great.
What the hell is
For
going on?
$6.
$6.
Bring your neighbor's wife.
I'm surprised they
We
don't
won't
provide
say
the girl
shit.
for you. An extra 30 cents. What the fuck?
I like that they're like, it includes the doggy bag. What place is charging you for a bag to go?
You want to take it with you, that's going to be extra. This is not even like advertising. Maybe women are reading this. This is
You
only
might
for
cut
guys.
that out and put it on your table and be like, this is where I'll be on Thursday. Well, what about us? Read the ad.
Did you read it? You don't like flounder.
Remember when you were allergic to flounder?
Christ. By the way, this episode's for us.
Yeah.
This is a for us episode. We're having fun. You don't like it, eat shit. Sorry. Next week, be all crazy and crime. Don't worry. But there's a lot of crime coming up here, by the way. So, also rooms for rent, I found here quickly.
Yeah.
Clifton, New Jersey, 3.5 rooms and bath, heat and hot water supplied there. It doesn't say how much it is. None of these say how much they are. Furnished room, gentleman preferred.
Yeah.
Lakeview Avenue, gentleman preferred. There. It tells you who they want. Man preferred.
Right.
3 furnished rooms available. Nurses preferred. Oh, that's very specific.
That's scary.
That is, I like that little outfit. I like your. That's creepy.
Rapables preferred.
Yeah, I like cheerleaders preferred. You know what I mean? Like nuns preferred. I don't know why, but they turn me on. That's maybe because I can't see nothing. I'm like, what's under there? Come on, sister. You know what I mean?
Optometrist preferred. I got a thing.
Yeah, I got a thing. I need a podiatrist. Podiatrist preferred. My foot's been bothering me. He just rents it out to whoever he's into that week. Here's one furnished room, nice area, respectable gentleman preferred. That's for you there, not for us, guys.
No scumbags.
No. What is this? A respectable gentleman preferred, kitchen privileges, mature woman preferred.
Hell yeah.
For this one. Oh my.
We want someone with a bush around.
Yeah, it's a big one that goes down her legs. Wow, this is fucking awesome. What do we have here? Gentleman preferred, one furnished room, woman preferred, $40 a week. Which is only a room. That seems like a lot here.
$40 a week. That is what, $160 a month.
So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
for back then.
Steep.
Houses for rent. I found 2 bedrooms, living room, eating kitchen, screened-in rear porch, full basement and garage, excellent condition. Just $325 a month.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's great. 4.5 room bungalow, full basement, very clean, $240 a month.
And this is rent.
This is rent. Yeah, a farmhouse in Pennsylvania, $105 a month, all utilities included. Retired couple preferred, must have knowledge of farming.
Must have.
Shit, I was with you till there. Oh my God, that's hilarious. And
The
then
sales are great here.
Sales are great.
I
That's
love
the
this.
sales. This is awesome.
I can't get enough of that.
I would love to do a show.
Just sales?
We've talked about
Just
it.
dates and sales?
We've talked about it. I don't know if anybody's interested in it, but we've discussed doing a show kind of based around old newspapers and things like that with different weird things and sales and kind of going through it. And I think it would be just absolutely fucking great and hilarious.
It's just fascinating to find out that that's what shit cost. Granted, the income was much different, but it's fascinating.
We did the inflation and everything, but still, it's just crazy to think about.
But think about 13,000 times what equals 83? I don't know, 7. Well, we'll go with 7. You multiply 1,300 by 7. That's still, cars are way more today.
They're way more than that. Plus, you have to imagine they had nothing else to spend money on back then. You didn't have a million bills back then. You had
seafood was only $7.
That's what I mean. $6
for everything.
With the girl. So, I mean, that's what it was like. You didn't have a cell phone bill and a Wi-Fi and an internet and cable and fucking. I mean, go through all the different nitpicky Hulu, Netflix.
Water was drinkable, so you didn't have to go buy fucking cases of that shit.
Go through your $10. Go through all of your monthly fees. None of those existed back then, except a phone bill, an electric bill, a water bill, and a mortgage payment. That's it. That's all they fucking had. So it's a totally different world back then.
You had like 6 checks you had to cut each month.
Yeah, that's
today
it.
Today you got 6 people reaching in your pocket right into your bank account.
Automatically pulling everything out of your bank account.
Every couple of weeks.
Yeah. So anyway, he ends up playing for Cleveland here on this team. Dave Duncan, Chris Chambliss, Buddy Bell, who was there for years. I had a Buddy Bell glove for some reason. No, my cousin Jesse had one, a Buddy Bell. I'm like, why do you have a Buddy Bell glove? What's wrong with you?
You're the only guy that likes him.
No, he didn't even like him. He just had a glove, and I was like, Buddy Bell? That's who you got?
What'd you do this
He was
for?
like old. He was playing in 72. This is like 88 I'm talking about. He had a Buddy Bell. Like, what do you have that for? And Oscar Gamble, all these guys.
You might want to sell that to Buddy Bell. He might want that nostalgia.
Yeah, Jess, if you're out there, I don't know if you still have your Buddy Bell glove, but if you do,
find him on Twitter. He wants it.
He was chunky, though. He might be dead. We don't know. So, he might have gone the way of Big Pun. You never know. So, 1973, Cleveland sucks. They are 71 and 91. Not good at all. At all. He says, though, he actually came into his own this year as a person. He says, believe it or not, after I was with the Yankees and went through all the experience of being a babysitter for the Latino Yankees all those years and being an interpreter for all the Spanish-speaking ball players, when I was traded to Cleveland, I kind of rebelled against the system. Yeah. That's what they used to do back then.
Really?
A guy like him, he wouldn't even be on the team necessarily for his baseball ability.
Just to talk to the guys
and keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
And like literally to report back to the team what the fuck they're doing and translate between them, because he was, he knew English and shit like that. There was guys, and they was really weird. Like, they didn't trust those guys because they didn't speak English. And it was like, oh, they play baseball. What the fuck do you care? So it was weird.
It does hurt a little bit, though, if you're like, even if they're doing well, knowing that they're saying some shit behind your back in their own native language, that sucks. That hurts.
Well, you don't want anybody talking shit about you. That's what I mean.
But they're doing it.
Yeah, everybody is. Yeah. He says, when I got traded to Cleveland, I was traded for Greg Nettles in the winter of 72, then got to Cleveland in 73, and they called me Rusty. I was sitting on the bench still, and I got angry. I got angry about the situation, and I rebelled against the whole system and made them call me Rosendo.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, fuck this shit. He was tired of it. He was like, you're not going to make me translate and be like your overseer for your...
And then call me fucking terrible?
For your Latino field hands, and then, you know what I mean? And then you're going to call me Rusty on top of it. No, I'm not Toby, fuck you. Kunta fucking Kinte, bitch. Eat dicks. Rosendo Torres Hernandez, motherfucker. Junior.
Call me Junior.
Puerto Rico. Oh. So he was tired of that shit. Good for him. Fucking stand up to
Well, there's nothing
people.
Worse than getting that.
That's the worst.
That nickname that only your friends call you, and then somebody that you don't know.
Fuck these people.
This guy wasn't even there when I heard it.
They're not being respectful to you, too. You're like, you're going to call me that shit and be disrespectful, too? Eat shit. Yeah.
You're calling me Rusty like he was calling me Rusty.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that.
Yeah, you're not in my neighborhood. We're not playing stickball together.
I'll beat your ass with a stickball bat.
I got one, too. Now, Ken Aspromonte, who's the manager, came up to him, he said, and said, quote, why did you tell them to stop calling you Rusty? Rusty Torres. That's a great baseball name. That's what the manager said, which it is a good baseball name, like an old time. They didn't think of a sexual move back then.
Right.
It was Rusty Staub, and Rusty sounded like a redheaded guy.
And it's 4 syllables. It's quick.
Yeah, Rusty Torres. Right. It's good. I said, if I can't play regularly in the major leagues and I'm not good enough to play in the major leagues every day, I want to be called by my real name. At least I have my heritage. At least I have my name that I can use. So they started calling me Rosendo. They were like, well, you're not going to play every day, so have a seat, Rosendo. Enjoy. How's the game looking from the bench, Rosendo?
Sit down, Junior.
Yeah, sit down. Then he said, and then years later, I just gave up fighting. I just withdrew. I still fought management, insisting about being called Rosendo, but I withdrew. I withdrew to the dugout.
Yeah.
He just didn't care anymore. He just got beat down. June 4th, 1973 is the second forfeited game he's involved in. Okay, he's got a weird, this is not the last one either. This is 10-cent beer night.
Oh.
Have you heard of 10-cent beer night?
I get it.
Okay, 10-cent beer night was in Cleveland. Bill, I think wasn't Bill Veck the owner there, I want to say, or that might be the later one with the White Sox. Either way, it's 10 cent. They decided to give people beer for 10 cents.
In Cleveland.
An unlimited amount.
That's fucking crazy.
Where you have reason to drink.
Right.
Because you live there.
All the reasons.
You smell jizz and burning river? I'm going to fucking get hammered. This is disgusting.
I'd rather smell Gardettos.
Yeah. Now, 6 days earlier, there was a big brawl between the two teams in Texas. This is Texas and Cleveland.
Got it.
Big brawl. And so the press had been working up that they're going to play a week later, and it's going to be a big deal.
On 10-cent beer night.
As all comes together, happens to be, unfortunately for everyone, on 10-cent beer night. So, as you can, do I need to even tell you what happened? Rusty says, quote, I blame the press for this one between the Rangers and the Indians. So they decided to make it 10-cent beer night in Cleveland on June 4th. I show up at the stadium early like I always do. People are out at the stadium already at 5 o'clock and they're having 10-cent beers, man. Forget about it.
Yeah.
He said by the 9th inning, imagine how liquored up these fucking people were.
This is probably where civilians started wearing cargo pants and they just filled them with dimes.
Yeah, this is where dimes throwing them at 10 cents. I don't care, inflation or not. That's
cheap beer.
Even that's 80-cent beer night.
Yeah.
If you had that now, there'd be fucking riots. People would kill each other, throw each other off the upper deck. They would. Yeah. They'd dress somebody up like Trump and burn him in effigy or something off the upper deck. It would be fucking crazy. Like there'd be
when there are dollar beers at places, it's bedlam.
It's insanity.
It's a nightmare.
So a guy, Milt Wilcox, was the pitcher for Cleveland in the 8th inning, and there'd been guys throwing at each other from the bad blood. So this guy retaliates from an earlier beating by throwing behind one of the Rangers' heads. So this guy ends up bunting, and as Wilcox retrieves the ball and tried to tag him, the guy forearmed him for throwing at him. So it's one of those. It's a chippy game. So the Indians' first baseman, John Ellis, went and punched Randall, the base runner, which resulted in a brawl. And while this is going on, the fans start throwing beers on the Indians players.
It was 10 cents. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Our Texas fans are pouring on the Indians. There's a few Texas fans there. That was the last brawl that happened. That was the first brawl, not this one. That wasn't 10-cent beer night.
Got it.
That's the last brawl. They threw a few beers, the Texas fans, on the Cleveland. Now, Texas had a 5-1 lead in Cleveland on 10-cent beer night. And continually people are getting drunker and drunker. A woman ran into the on-deck circle, flashed her tits, tried to kiss the umpire.
Awesome.
A naked man streaked. This was a good one, too. Yeah. They couldn't catch him for a while.
I like when that happens.
He ran onto the field. They chased him around. He ended up sliding into second base. Naked.
Ouch.
Which would hurt.
That hurts, but it's worth it.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah. Father and son ran into the outfield and mooned the bleachers. Together.
3 times this
That's
happened.
Togetherness. There's more. There's more. Okay,
3 events of spectators on the field so far.
All nudity.
Inning 2.
Yeah. All sexual registered sex offenders now.
Right.
So then.
Made it a father-son experience.
Yeah, come on. We're going to moon that son of a bitch.
Let's go.
How hammered are you?
Let's go have to move tomorrow because we're going to
be in the paper. So. LaRon Lee of Cleveland hits a line drive that Fergie Jenkins of the Rangers, it hits him in the stomach, okay? He falls down. So the fans start chanting, hit him harder, hit him harder. That's the chant. So that was the beginning, and then as the game continues, fans are just doing all sorts of shit. They're throwing hot dogs at the players, spitting at Mike Hargrove, who was in the outfield for Texas, and they're shooting fireworks into the Texas dugout.
Who has that in their pocket?
They have 10-cent beer night. Anything's possible. They're literally shooting them from the stands, aiming them into the Texas dugout, and dropping them like on top of the dugout. They're dropping like firecracker.
It's a fucking war zone.
It's bedlam.
Yeah.
Hargrove was nearly hit by a gallon of Thunderbird wine.
What?
A gallon of cheap wine almost hit him in the fucking head.
Why are you bringing that?
It's 10-cent beer night. I don't know. So at the bottom of the ninth, then Cleveland ties the game at 5.
Yeah.
Now it's getting dangerous. So this is when it gets bad. A fan, Jeff Burrows, is playing out in right field, and a fan runs out and tries to steal Jeff Burrows' hat. Okay. Burrows tries to confront the guy and trips and falls down while he's doing it. The right fielder. Now, Texas's manager is Billy Martin.
Yeah.
Now, if you know anything about Billy Martin, he's the fightingest guy in the history of sports. He started the famous Copacabana brawl. He's a tiny, tiny guy who literally fights anybody. He tried to fight Reggie Jackson in the dugout while he's a 50-something-year-old manager, and Reggie is a jack dude in the prime of his life. He had to be held back by Elston Howard because he was trying to kill Reggie Jackson. He's a nut. So he sees this, and he thought Burrows was being attacked by the fans, and they got a hold of him. So he says, "Come on, guys, onto the field, get the fucking bats, let's go."
What?
So the Texas Rangers, with bats in their hand and helmets and everything else, run out to right field to protect Jeff Burrows from getting mauled by the fans. So they're going out. They do this. Fans at that point, more fans start coming down with weapons.
Oh, no.
People have chains, knives.
Why does
seats? They have seats that they've ripped from the stadium and have now carried on the field and are trying to hit Texas Ranger players with them. That's what's happening. This is crazy. This is like the end of Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, but why do they have
This is the end of Blazing Saddles.
Who brings that shit to a baseball game?
That's what is going on here.
This is wild.
This is insanity, right? So obviously this is nuts. So Ken Aspromonte, who's the manager of the Indians, realizes that basically the fans are attacking the Rangers. Their lives are in danger. So he says, "Come on, guys, grab your bats and go help the other team.
What?
Let's go fight our fans. Come on." So literally, the Indians players grab their bats and rush out to right field to fight the fans off the Texas Rangers, because at the end of the day, they're baseball players and these fucking people don't belong on the field. So they're going to protect their player friends. So that's what ends up happening. People, at that point, it's a full-blown riot.
Yeah.
People start
malice at the palace.
It's worse. They're throwing chairs.
Right, there's weapons.
Oh, there's shit on fire. It's fucking crazy. One of a folding chair hit Cleveland relief pitcher Tom Hilgendorf in the head, and he was involved at the time. He was involved in a fight, and somebody hit him in the head. He had to get stitches. Mike Hargrove was in a fist fight with a fan, and had to fight another one while making his way back to the dugout. By the way, the whole time this was going on, Rusty Torres was at second base.
He just stood there.
No, he had to get in the brawl, but this started while he's at second. So he's just standing there. All of a sudden, a brawl breaks out. People run out there. Then his team runs out. He's like, well, fuck it, I guess I run in there too. So he's involved with it. The bases were stolen. They had to call the game because they stole the bases and they didn't have any other ones.
Wow.
So we can't play the rest of the game without bases.
Holy shit.
They threw them with cups, coins, bottles, hot dogs, radio, batteries, fucking...
I've never heard of this.
Cups, glasses, bottles, folding chairs, a goddamn disaster. He was in as a pinch hitter in that situation. So, a guy tried to steal Burrow's glove after the hat incident, and that's when it... Fucking ridiculous, man.
How do they not get a handle on this as soon as the chick's tits come out?
Hey, everyone calm down.
Can you guys not do this? How about we quit the fucking beer
The 70s were pretty loosey-goosey, but relax here. Lee McPhail, the American League president, had the Captain Obvious over here, says, quote, "There was no question that beer played a part in the riot." You think? You think so?
Well done, dickhead.
Wow. The Indians had 3 more 10-cent beer nights on the schedule and changed them. They changed it. Still 10-cent beers, but instead of unlimited beer, now it's 4 beers per person.
Yeah.
That's it. So you can't have unlimited beer.
And maybe it is a great thing that beers are like $7,000 at a stadium. That keeps you from throwing
and there's still people
and
hammered.
Buying a shitload of
there's
it. But
there's people falling down drunk.
Yeah.
I spent $800 to get like this. Like, they don't care. They'll still do it.
I spent my mortgage to talk like an idiot.
Okay, I'm going to get arrested too. Hold on.
I spent a mortgage to puke.
It feels so green. I'm going to run. So 73.
I'm going to go punch Jermaine O'Neal.
Looks right. So 122 games for Cleveland that year, 312 at bats. He only hits 205.
Okay.
Not great. 205 is not good. 7 home runs, 28 RBI, 6 stolen bases, but he's caught stealing 5 times. So that's not good. No. Makes $16,000.
That is good.
Equal to $92,128.65. Not too shabby. 1974 in Cleveland here. He ends up playing 109 games for them. He hits 187.
Oh, my God.
With 3 home runs, 12 RBI.
You don't do that today.
No, you're gone.
They will open you.
Yeah, well, what they do is September 12th of 74, they basically Cleveland trades Ken Suarez, cash, and a player to be named later to the California Angels for legendary Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. Okay. So October 10th, 1974, after the season, the Cleveland sends Rusty as the player to be named later. He got named later. You can have 187 boy over here. We don't need him. We're good.
187. Also, we're going to kill your career in honor of your murder number that you just backed.
187, you're dead. But that year, he does make $19,750, which is equivalent to $102,418.37.
For 187 batting average.
For a 187 average.
The worst of his career, making the most money.
Yeah, that's bad. 75, he is in the minors, the California Angels minor league system the whole year. Doesn't see the majors in 75. Plays for the Salt Lake City Gulls.
Eesh.
Not great. They looked on this team. Kurt Bavacqua, the bubblegum champions on this team. Vance Law, who played for the White Sox later, is on this team. Guys like that. Nobody that really is anything special, though. But for them, he ends up hitting 306 that year.
Okay.
In 369 at bats. So he kind of got his groove back. It's AAA pitching. What do you expect? 8 home runs, 64 ribbies. So 1976, he's with the California Angels now because he had been traded there. They just kept him down. 76. I mean, this is a team. Nolan Ryan's on this team. Right. So this is not a great team, but some interesting guys are on this team. Bobby Bonds is on this team. Yeah. Barry Bonds' dad, obviously. Some Nolan Ryan. Enough said there. So some decent guy. Jim Brewer, the comedian. No, it's a guy named Jim Brewer.
Yeah, spelled the same way?
Yeah.
E-U-E-R?
Oh, no. Wait, no. This is a E-W-E-R. Right. Damn it. So 76 Angels, 76 and 86. Manager gets fired halfway through the year. That's just not a good time here. They're not a good team. This team. He plays in 120 games, 264 at bats, hits 205. Seems to be about what he's hitting in the majors. His last 4 major league seasons are 211, 205, 187, 205.
That's not good at all.
That is some Mendoza shit right there, right on the line. He was their opening day starting center fielder that year.
Really?
In 76. They wanted to give him a chance. He hit well in the minors. They're like, he's ready to go, but just not great. He played 104 of his games in center field, but he, just 205. He did have a lot of walks, though, which is good. But you got to hit more than 205. He loses his starting job, ends up on the bench, and that's kind of the way it goes there. He's a free agent at the end of that year. And on August 21st, 76, he does hit a 10th inning solo home run to beat the Yankees. A walk-off shot to beat the Yankees. So that was probably good. That was probably good. He was good for a homer once in a while. 77 California Angels, another shit team. They're 74 and 88. Not wonderful. New manager. They fire their manager again halfway through the year, hire somebody else who has like the same exact record. Hot garbage, basically. 58 games here for Rusty. He's only 77 at bats, so that tells you it's a lot of pinch hitting. He hits 156.
Oh, no.
Which, I got to say, this guy might be a guy who needs to play every day to be able to hit 275. Right. That might be his thing, because some guys pinch hitting's hard, and coming in off the bench is hard. You're not in your groove. Right. So baseball is like a rhythm game. It's a repetition game. So it's a special talent to be able to be a bench player in baseball. That's valuable, because it really is. That's why you got guys like what the hell was his name on Oakland? He just retired a few years ago. Big power hitter.
The big white guy?
Yeah.
Giambi.
No, not Giambi.
His brother Giambi.
No, neither Giambi. Oh, Matt.
Williams. Campbell.
Matt Stairs.
Oh, of course.
Matt Stairs. He, shut up, Dick.
I can't believe you expect me to pull that shit out.
He's a big stock. I don't know.
Unbelievable. Matt Stairs. How the fuck would I know?
Look him up right now.
Jesus.
You don't know
Christ.
Matt Stairs.
No.
Okay.
How old was he? Was he playing a long time?
Yeah, he played forever. He's played till
obviously,
in
you're
his fucking 40s.
shocked that he just retired.
Yeah, I thought he just retired.
Is the Stairs like the Stairs?
I think so. Yeah, Matt Stairs, like the Stairs. Look him up.
Okay, I'm doing my best here. It's fucking. It doesn't pull anybody up.
Did I get it wrong too?
I don't know. I typed in Matt Stairs and nothing populated. It's just my letters. Didn't even bring anybody up. And now Google's not working.
Yeah,
so
no,
God damn it.
So all right,
it's a shit day.
I think it's Matt Stairs.
It's trying. Yeah. Oh, I see him.
Mullet, blonde guy, stocky.
Well, he looks like shit.
He's old now.
He's old as fuck now. Matt Wade Stairs, by the way.
There you go. Matt Stairs.
Played for the Phillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played for the A's at the end of his
Canadian
career.
fella?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He looks very Canadian.
He
That's a good way to
does.
put it. Looks like a lumberjack.
He does.
Absolutely.
He is a syrup sipping.
Oh, yeah.
Also, by the way, Gardetto's chewing. Jesus Christ.
But he was a good pinch hitter, and he stuck around forever. Rusty Staub stuck around in the league till he was 46
Most
years old.
pinch hitting home runs ever.
That's what I mean. I think Cliff Johnson's record he beat, because Cliff Johnson, the guy who got drafted with Rusty Torres, was the guy before that who was a huge pinch hitting legend.
This guy just retired?
A few years ago.
My God.
Yeah, he played into his 40s.
That's only 40?
Yeah.
He looks like
He looked terrible
shit.
anyway.
Wow.
He's a free agent now, Rusty is,
Okay.
as of October of 77. March 1st, 1978, he signed as a free agent with Texas. I don't know what the market value of a 156 hitter is. A guy's got like a lifetime, like 201 average. I don't know what that is, but that was the whole winter. He didn't have a team. He didn't know if anyone was going to sign him, but he signed like right in the beginning of spring training by the Rangers. He starts off the 78 season back down in the minors, playing for the Tucson Toros down there.
That's brutal. From L.A. to Tucson?
Tucson in the summer.
Ugh.
Fucking kill me.
Unbelievable.
So he was hitting 346 with 7 home runs in the first 30 games in Tucson, which he's looking good.
Yeah.
So Texas said, "Ooh, we can either bring him up or try to ride this out, or we've built up his value a little. Let's just trade him because we don't think it's going to last." So they trade him with Claudel Washington, who's a longtime player, to the Chicago White Sox for Bobby Bonds.
Okay.
So they end up getting, Bobby Bonds is in this deal. So he goes to the White Sox. 78 White Sox this looks like
That's not good.
just a complete. Chet Lemon is the only guy. Chet Lemon, Claudel Washington, Ron Bloomberg. Nobody else is really.
That's the guy who was drafted with Bloomberg. Right?
Yeah, and he'll come up later too. Bobby Bonds was on there before he got traded, obviously. So anyway, it's an interesting thing here. 78 White Sox, 71-90. They are another bad team. This is managers Bob Lemon and Larry Doby. Larry Doby does not get enough credit, by the way. Larry Doby is the first American League, first black player in the American League.
Really?
Very soon after Jackie Robinson. Had to go through just as much shit, but got none of the credit for it. Literally none of the credit.
Everybody's dancing.
Everybody, Jackie Robinson Day, Jackie Robinson number, everybody wears it. It's all retired throughout the league, and it's all should be. That's great.
Right.
But
10
Larry
minutes
Doby.
later,
Did you ever hear of Larry Doby, Jimmy?
Never.
There
No.
you go.
10 minutes later, Larry's in there. Going, well, what the fuck?
Yep.
What is it? Because my name doesn't sound like Jackie? Because Larry's a little bit uglier of a name?
He just missed the timing. That's all it was. It was just they missed the timing. Once, I think it was Cleveland he was with, they brought him up because it was like, the Dodgers are providing cover, so we'll bring him up and no one will really notice. And that's what it kind of was here. So this year for Chicago, he only plays in 16 games. He has 44 at-bats. He hits 318, but I mean, 44 at bats. What are you going to do here? 3 home runs, which isn't bad. 6 RBI. That's not terrible. He made the opening day opening day roster, which is good. Not too shabby. He starts on July 12th. It's a doubleheader against the Detroit Tigers, and it is Disco Demolition Night. What? Have you heard of this?
What the fuck is this?
Okay, local DJ that night it was a rock station. This is 79, the end of kind of disco.
he had a big disco sucks thing. It was disco demolition night, where you were to bring all of your disco records and things, anything disco related, and they were going to put them on a big piece of plywood, and in between the double header, in the middle of that, they were going to blow it up.
Oh my God.
Have a big explosion of records and tapes.
James. Everybody bring weapons to the stands.
Records.
Yeah.
Records.
Right, not weapons.
Think about that.
Not weapons.
Think
not
about
at all.
Now, if you zip a record like a Frisbee in a far
you
distance.
take a fucking eye out.
You take a head off with that thing.
Break it in
Like
half
Austin
and you've got
Powers and take your head clean off.
You break it in half and you've got a goddamn cutting agent.
Oh, yeah,
you
have an absolute blade.
A military blade.
So this
prison
is
blade. That's
prison.
what I
Yeah, not like I think they give the military better.
I think they get.
Is that what we're doing? I pay. Okay, we just did our taxes.
Yeah,
I'm not paying them if that's what we're giving our soldiers to fight with, because I'm sorry, whatever it is, it's not worth it. If we're giving them weapons, fine, but otherwise, I'm not paying for.
We're melting down Billy Joel's albums.
I'm not paying for a bunch of dudes to be running around the Middle East with half of Pink Floyd, The Wall, half a Dark Side of the Moon swiping at Arabs. I don't need that shit. It's weird. It's just weird. So he had scored. He'd played in the game. So in between games, was supposed to be, like I said, the blow up a big box of disco records, which ended up causing thousands of fans to rush onto the field.
What?
And to do this, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And so the police had to come in riot gear and clear them off. Rusty says, quote, a lot of people didn't like disco because that stadium was packed. He says, I played that game. I started in right field that day. So I'm in right field. The first inning, somebody zings a 78 record. You remember those 78 records? Like the
little guy.
Yeah. It goes right by my head and sticks in the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, if you shot that from the upper deck, you would
gravity yanking it down.
Oh, dude, it'll cut you. That'll cut you. Absolutely cut you. It's stuck in the ground. He said it was always humid there, so that record sticks in the ground. So they announce over the public address, please do not throw records on the field.
I can't believe we have to say this, but
obvious announcements. Jesus Christ. He says, they'll have their fun in between games when the demolition of the records was going to take place. The people calm down, they have their beers, so we play the first game. Finish the first game, then we go inside the clubhouses. We're sitting inside drinking some soda, and then all of a sudden we hear this explosion. It rocked the stadium, right? We jump up, I go outside, and the stadium was full of smoke. But when the smoke started clearing, you see about 20,000 people on the field.
What?
They all just came on the field. But that's not all of it. The police then come out on horses. It was just unbelievable. Bill Veeck was the creator of that. Bill Veeck is you know who he is? He's the owner of the White Sox at the time. He's a crazy son of a bitch.
Well, obviously.
He owned minor league teams before that, and he was the king of crazy promotions. He came up. Have you ever seen the picture of the little person hitting?
Yeah.
Who's about, I'm not talking 4'4", I'm talking 1'9".
Yeah.
That's him.
The bat is like 3 of him.
Yes, because he's impossible to throw a strike on.
Got it.
That's Bill Veeck sent that guy out there. Shit like that. It's publicity stunts.
Yeah.
He was trying. In minor leagues, you have to do anything to get people to come to the games. Because the quality of baseball isn't going to do it. So
you got guys that are a foot tall.
Yeah, come see them try to throw a strike to this Tom Thumb over here. It's weird. that was his promotion.
I know.
He says, quote, that was quite an experience. We couldn't play the second game, of course, because it was forfeited.
Yeah.
When everything cleared and the people are getting off the field, we see they had made a crater in center field.
What?
A crater that you would not believe.
Explosion.
Yes, they cratered it.
Wow.
So they interviewed the guy in charge of the explosion. The police ask him, what the heck did you do? He says, quote, I used too much dynamite. I think I might have used too much gunpowder too.
He used dynamite?
Dynamite and gunpowder.
And he's got people within
all over the place.
100 fucking yards of this thing.
Running right up to them.
What the shit?
So much so that he cratered center field of Comiskey Park. So Jesus Christ. So Sparky Anderson, who's the Tigers manager, said, we can't play if the goddamn field is a crater and I'm not sending my players out there. So the White Sox had to forfeit the second game. He was involved in 3 forfeited games in the no one's ever been involved in 3 forfeited games except for Rusty Torres.
Wow.
He's got some some weird things. He's got some records. Yeah, he's quite the accomplished man. 79 White Sox, 73 and 87. Not like it matters. They fired their manager halfway through the season and hired a new manager. He was a brand new guy on the scene. Who knows if he'll last? Tony La Russa.
Oh,
so
we'll see.
We'll see.
See how that
see how many
works out.
rings he ends up with. Tony La Russa, when he came in with the White Sox, after a while, I read this in a book, he implemented a new way of pitchers. He didn't use pitchers like you traditionally use them, 6-7 innings, bring relievers out. All of the guys would pitch 2.5, 3 innings. That was his thing. So as a starter, you'd come in, pitch 2.5, 3 innings. Somebody else come in, pitch 2.5, 3 innings. Then that starter's available whenever you want
2 days.
It's flexible. But the problem is guys get paid about statistics.
Right.
So if you're a pitcher and you're a starting pitcher and you come out in the third inning, you can never get a win.
Right.
Because you have to pitch 5 to get a win if you start. So if you're a starting pitcher, then you go for your contract and you had no wins last year. You can't.
Shit.
And you go to arbitration. You can't be like, well, the manager has a weird thing that has it doesn't work. So
you don't understand what had happened was.
What happened was. So yeah, the players were basically in a riot, and La Russa had to change his mind. But when you see La Russa making constant pitching changes, as he's criticized for back in the day for a long time now, it's because he wants to make even more.
Right.
If the players wouldn't rebel, he would make even more. So November 1st, 79, he's a free agent, Rusty is. 1980, he is signed as a free agent with the White Sox. Then April 1st, which is like opening day, he's released by the White Sox. So he didn't make the last cut there. May 5th, 1980, he signed as a free agent with Kansas City, and Kansas City had a big year. He plays 8 games with the Omaha Royals in AAA to get in shape, and then gets promoted to the Royals.
Yeah.
He played in 51. So this guy, if you guessed, he did play for the Royals.
I did not.
You didn't guess that.
I guessed Expos.
You guessed Expos. In 51 games, he only batted 167 and had no extra base hits.
What?
None. No doubles. Only just singles. That's it. This team consisted of George Brett, Amos Otis, Hal McRae, Willie Mays Aikens,
You're
as we might know of here. A lot of guys. UL Washington, who I always loved his name. Dan Quisenberry. Ken Brett also, who was drafted with George's brother. He doesn't do well. So August 29th, 1980, he's released by the Royals. By the way, Kansas City that year will go on to all the way to beat the Yankees in the AL Championship Series and lose 4-2 against the Phillies in the World Series.
Okay.
So he was a month away from being able to play in a World Series.
God
but
damn it.
Didn't quite get to do it. That is it for his major league career. He's never going to get called up to the majors again. He has 655 games, 1,314 at bats, 212 batting average.
Lifetime? Wow.
212, 35 homers, 126 ribbies, which is like a good season for a power hitter. 35 homers, 126 ribbies. 13 stolen bases, 20 caught stealing.
Yeah.
Not great at all. 164 walks, 246 strikeouts.
That'll give him a $7 million contract this year, though.
Yeah, I'll get him something.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a great time. 1981, January 20th, he signs as a free agent with the Pirates, but he's cut before the season. Ouch. He doesn't make it out of spring training. He's not cut, he's demoted. Yeah. They send him down to Portland, where he plays the entire 1981 season on the Portland Beavers, who we've talked about before as well. They were 72 and 65, not like it fucking matters.
Portland Beavers,
baby. You know it. So, he plays there. 257 he hits. What does he hit? Holy shit, 21 home runs though. 257, 21 homers, 74 RBI.
In AAA.
In AAA. He's what you call
AAA star.
He's what you call a 4A guy. Yeah. That's what Rod told me. Okay. The guys that are too good for the minors. Right. You send them down, they hit 30 home runs.
Crush.
You bring them up, they hit 200.
Right.
What do you do with that guy?
There's nowhere else.
He's a 4A.
He sells cars.
Literally, they'll be playing at 4A guys. They'll say that means just he ain't going to cut it. That's if you ever hear anybody referred to as 4A, that's what that means. I think only players use that term though. But he's in 1982. He ends up even lower than the minors. He ends up in Mexico.
Oh no!
Playing in a Mexican league, playing for the Monterrey Sultans. Sultanes. Yeah. That should, there's an E in there.
Is there really?
Yeah, Sultan with an ES. Okay. There. So he plays for Monterrey. They're 48 and 81 team. Ugh. Not good. and that's going to be it for him. Here's the list of teams he's played for.
Yeah.
Let's just tell you, a guy who he didn't play forever or anything. This is how many.
AAA involved?
All of them, just as many teams. Johnson City Yankees, Oneonta Yankees, Greensboro Yankees, Fort Lauderdale Yankees, Kingston Eagles, Manchester Yankees, Syracuse Chiefs, New York Yankees, Cleveland Indians, Salt Lake City Gulls, California Angels, Iowa Oaks, Tucson Toros, Chicago White Sox, Omaha Royals, Kansas City Royals, Portland Beavers, Monterey Sultans.
That is brutal.
It's so many places to go. Like, just, it's ridiculous.
That's like our schedule this year.
That's like our tour schedule. Jesus. So it's actually less than our tour schedule.
Is.
We have more cities than they have teams.
He's packing up and moving. Every damn time.
So he's done.
I still come back here.
That's true. Yeah, we have a home to come back to. He's done with baseball at this point. He says, quote, "Unfortunately, that's when it hit me when he's done in Mexico." He said, "I knew how to play ball, but that was it. I was totally unprepared for the job market." Yeah. No idea what to do. Yeah. He didn't make enough money to sit on or anything.
No.
I mean, he was making...
He made 50 grand.
I mean, if you made $100 grand's worth of income in the mid-70s, that's good money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's not money that you can be like, I can live off of that for the next 10 years. I mean...
Coasting, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, 1985, he gets involved in a new business.
Oh, boy.
He's been out of the league for 3 years. He's at a Bernie's Diner in Route 10 in Farmingdale, in New York here.
It's a great place.
We all know it. It's in Long Island out there. He is with a guy named Craig Pitter, who's a 24-year-old, and a guy named Ivan Maldonado, who's a 25-year-old. And they're in a parking lot outside Bernie's Diner. This sounds like a Goodfellas meeting place, but it's not. Basically, he is arrested here.
Oh, God.
And charged with selling a half ounce of cocaine to an undercover detective.
What the fuck?
Which is not smart. $900 he sold it for.
Oh,
half ounce of coke to an undercover detective. Not just they got him on a hand-to-hand. He sold it to a cop.
And he's in his 30s.
Not good.
No.
He is 36. He tells police that he is jobless and on welfare. So he goes from that to now he's unemployed, living on welfare, trying to sling coke in the Bernie's Diner parking lot to undercover cops. Not terrific. Telling people, don't call me Rusty.
You weren't there.
You don't know. So he's unable to post $5,000 bail, and he's locked up in the county jail awaiting his hearing. They can't even post bail. The other two men were who were, quote, major participants in the sale were held on $20,000 bail. He was held on $5,000 bail. I don't know if just because he was on the Yankees. So they're like, well, June 25th, 85, he has to plead guilty to criminal. He pleads down from the distribution because he sold it to criminal possession of cocaine.
Okay,
that's what he does here. Suffolk County District Attorney recommended that he get 60 days in the county jail, followed by probation. The judge said, "No, I don't think so." She said his attorney said that he was outside the diner, but he wasn't the person who sold the cocaine to the other undercover officer. He didn't physically hand it to him, so so the judge says, "All right, you sir may fuck off. 300 hours of community service. Just that. 5 years probation also."
Okay, he can fix his life.
He can fix his life. That's a wake-up call.
Yeah, get a job and figure it out.
And I think that's what the judge was saying. Hey, you had your shit together at one point. Figure it out.
Remember when you played in the majors, dipshit?
Fucking clean up.
Don't choose this life.
So 1998, he starts something new. That's actually a good thing here. It's called the Winning Beyond Winning. It's an organization. Quote. This is from a I think this is from a Newsday article. Once again, through hard work and dedication, Rusty was able to meet the tough challenges. He's now dedicated to helping youngsters understand how they must prepare themselves. He's the founder of Winning Beyond Winning and participates in a number of youth activities. He says, quote, "We can help teach kids how to excel in sports, but just as importantly, we tell them how to make sure they get a well-rounded education." That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds very good.
Late 50s.
So 1998. 1998 is when it's founded. 270 people attend this event to launch this thing. It's for youth athletes. It's to teach them, they said, also teach them the dangers of drugs and alcohol while promoting participation in sports and school and everything like that. It also aids in the development of a young athlete's career after his or her playing days are over. So it's meant to do that too. One of the other founders, the president here, Thomas Sebelico, he said the average professional career is only about 4 years. So a guy can be the best, but only for 4 years. When the cheering stops, what does he do? He ends up being on our show is what he does, unfortunately. Generally. That's the problem. So he says that this guy says he's employed many former athletes that have had trouble adjusting to life after sports, which is totally understandable. Yeah. If all you do since you're 5 is this, and then they go, all right, figure out the rest of the world now.
Best of luck.
You need anybody to hit something with a bat? Like, that's what I know how to do. This guy says that he has helped spread this message to over 60,000 kids in the past, and he wants to continue it with this project. The Torres says, quote, athletics builds life skills. He says it builds character. It helps kids understand teamwork. These are all things that will help them no matter what they choose to do in life. That's true, actually. People hate sports and they think that it's, competition's bad. It is. It can be, but it can also be there's competition in the world.
It's a tool.
And not only that, it also helps you learn how to work with people, not only to compete against them. Right. It's both. It's how to, you have to
rely on each other's strengths to get to the common goal.
And especially now, you don't even have to be good to play sports as a kid. You can just play, and it's good for you, and you should play.
You don't even have to be good to get a job either.
Kids aren't going to make fun of you.
Get it because you got a friend there.
That happens all the time. But I mean, kids now, they don't make fun of each other when they're bad at baseball. They try to help each other. Kids are different. No. Exactly. Torres says, quote, when you're at the end of your playing days, it gets a little scary. You're at a crossroads and you have to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. We've gone through it. We've made those decisions. So now winning beyond winning is using ball players with this extensive life experience, and we're passing it on to the youth of our communities.
Okay.
That sounds great. Yeah. Right? 2002, he is inducted into the Stickball Hall of Fame.
There's one?
There's a Stickball Hall of Fame. It's like 300 Puerto Rican guys. That's all it's in it. Every name is just like, it's 300 Puerto Rican guys. They have a story about each of them, and it's like all of them are just...
Immigrated from Puerto Rico.
300 Puerto Rican guys from the Bronx. That's the whole fucking thing. It's awesome. Sounds like a fun party for the induction. They said that he also, at this point, when he's inducted into the Stickball Hall of Fame, that's hilarious. He spent some time as a guest instructor for a Baseball Plus in Hicksville, New York, where he taught, he did like clinics for kids for hitting, throwing, fielding, and that sort of thing. The guy who ran that said, quote, he was very good with the kids. I mean, very good with the kids. They absolutely loved him and took to what he was doing. Yeah. So he's good at instructing.
I want to be in the Butts Up Hall of Fame. Remember that one? That game?
Up.
Did you ever play Butts Up?
I don't know what that is.
It's where you have a racquetball and you throw it against a wall, and then if you I forget how the rule goes, but if you miss the ball or you miss
the ball goes in someone's butt.
No, well, that's what it is. You got to go stand up against the wall, put your hands on the wall, and then whoever just got you out whips the ball at your ass. That's the game. I was good at it.
What's that, from prison? What kind of fucking game is that? That's a prison game.
It's Central Phoenix.
That seems
some gangster-ass kids played it. Yeah, it was.
My cousin just got out of the pen and taught me this shit. Want to play? That's a weird thing to ask. Fucking,
yeah, it was pretty much that.
Yo, my uncle just got home. Check this out. Got this game.
I got a new game to show you guys. What is this? And then they show us, and that's when you go, your uncle just got out again, didn't he?
Didn't he? He's home? Okay.
He's back.
All right.
I can't believe you never played that.
I never heard of it before.
Wow.
Never, no,
right.
never heard of it.
I think it was popular.
I don't know. We played basketball a lot.
We did that too.
I don't know. I never played that one.
Butts Up was common.
Oh, all right. It sounds like something boys would do.
Yeah,
we weren't trying to hurt each other, and is always the goal. So.
There it is.
Yeah, it's always the end game. Can I hurt anyone?
A raised welt in the form of a very small blue ball.
Jesus Christ. So June 8th, 2007. Torres, Rusty, Rosendo, is awarded with the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum Hall of Fame Pioneer Award.
Oh,
in June of 2007 here. So that's a big thing. I looked up what this was.
Yeah.
The Hispanic Heritage Baseball Museum Hall of Fame was founded in San Francisco in 1998. It's a nonprofit here. It's a lot of people. It's basically founded by Gabriel Gabriel Avila Jr., who's a former semi-pro, Sandlot, high school, college player, and Vietnam-era veteran from New York City and San Francisco, who wanted to honor the greatest Hispanic baseball position players of all time.
Okay.
So it's dedicated to recognizing the contributions made to baseball by Hispanic players, and they have inducted 71 players since they started, including coaches, broadcasters, everything, executives, anybody you name.
Feels a little racist.
Well, founding members include Orlando Cepeda, Orlando Mercado, and Tito Fuentes. So it's November 1st, 2009, they give him an award. Good for them. And there's people like very Hall of Famers getting awards. Luis Aparicio got an award in the same time. So, I mean, he was up there with some heavy hitters up there, Hall of Famers. November 1st, 2009, I found Winning Beyond Winning held their Gil Hodges Legacy Dinner. That's what they call it. And it's their whole charity thing. 200 people showed up, and it featured 1969 Mets, Gil Hodges and Bud Harrelson, Cleon Jones, Ron Swoboda, all those guys. Gil Hodges Jr., obviously his son there, and Gil Hodges got the Lifetime Achievement Award from them because I guess he was good with kids too. And they also Roland Hemmen was given the Great Americans Awards for 50 years as an executive in Major League Baseball, and current New York Mets coach Howard Johnson, Hojo, was honored with the 2009 Winner's Circle Award. And Howard Johnson stated, quote, "I feel proud to carry on the traditions of the Mets that came before him and to pass what I have learned to the new generation of Mets players."
Yeah.
So he's all Mr. Up and Up, man.
Yeah.
This is great. 2011, the Winning Beyond Winning honors the pitcher David Robinson, who was the Yankees pitcher, and they're inducted into the Winner's Circle here, which is a big deal here. They talk about, Torres says about this organization, quote, "This organization has helped me to really grow in an area of my life that I've missed so much when I was playing baseball." He also says he's been sober for 21 years at this point, which would be 1990. He got sober, which makes sense. He said, this organization's been great for him. His roommate in the minor leagues, Tepedino's his name, he said that Torres is just always setting an example for kids nowadays. It's second nature. He said, quote, "This probably, if you tied up all the awards I've ever received, is more important than anything I've ever done on the field. This has so much meaning to so many people." And so, it's a nice thing here, trying to give you something nice. Shamsky said, quote, "Not only is it great to see some of my ex-teammates and some other players I've either played with or against, it's such a great cause. The combination of getting to reminisce a little bit and knowing that you're helping in some small way is a good feeling." That's nice. Rusty says, quote, "I always wanted to do things that would assist the youth in and around communities where I grew up." That's nice. "Our message is you can achieve things in life, but we're going to tell you about the little things you need to keep straight and achieve it."
Yeah.
That's good. That sounds great. He said, quote, "We're only a baby organization. We're just 13 years old, and yet we have kids in college who are saying, 'Hey, I'm doing something for myself.' We run into kids who come back and say, 'I remember what you told me.' That's the greatest feeling in the world when you know you've helped somebody." That sounds great.
Yeah.
He's having a great life, but this is rare that we have this.
Turned it around.
He has.
One Coke.
The one what?
Yeah, the one Coke bust.
Yeah,
now he's got to figure it out.
May 8th, 2012 comes around, and it all changes.
Yeah.
Real hard.
How long's he been doing it?
May 8th, 2012, he is arrested at his home in Massapequa, which is on Long Island there. He's going to be arraigned on 4 counts of sexual abuse.
What?
Charges of sexual abuse against him. He's 63. He's accused of abusing an 8-year-old girl.
What the
whom he was coaching
fuck?
On 2 separate occasions. Authorities say the 8-year-old was sexually abused inside a town-issued van because he's working for the town. The victim's parents reported the incident to police. He's employed as a youth baseball coach for the town of Oyster Bay, where they occurred. Law enforcement officials said, quote, "The first incident involved inappropriate touching. The second incident, there was contact but not sexual activity." A representative for the town of Oyster Bay didn't say anything. Rusty wouldn't comment.
No.
Detective Robert Mataderos said it occurred while Torres was performing his duties as an instructor for the town of Oyster Bay. His job is to teach kid shit.
Asshole.
He said that Torres and the victim were alone at the time, but there were several other children in the general area. You know how brazen that is,
That's
too?
disgusting.
Yeah. When he was asked, Torres disputed the allegations to police. Matadoro, the detective, said, quote, not entirely, but partially. He disputed it. He said that there's no accusations that he abused anyone else at this moment. He says, but the investigation is by no means closed.
No.
I doubt there's just one that we couldn't resist.
If you got your first one is not the one in the van near a bunch of kids.
Nope.
That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah. Now he's a detective with the Special Victims Unit here. He said, because of the extensive exposure to children, I believe that it's important to make people aware of this incident, and I encourage anyone who believes their child has had inappropriate contact with Mr. Torres to contact the Special Victims Squad. They're reaching out, police in the process of reaching out to other schools and organizations that he may have had ties to. A spokesman for the town of Oyster Bay, more Mr. Obvious here, said Torres was suspended without pay, and any programs was scheduled to conduct have been canceled and so forth. No shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We told him he could punch in and we'll see what happens later. Fuck out of here. His neighbor, Gus Galatatsis, Jesus,
Good Lord,
he's shocked.
Can't believe it.
He said, no way, Rusty arrested? What?
Yeah.
He then says, this is to Newsday, the paper, he says, I'm floored right now. He even coached my son. He's great. He knows everyone in the neighborhood and everyone knows him. He's such a well-known, well-liked guy. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
He said, Rusty is a friendly, outgoing guy. I pray to God that the allegations aren't true. That's what he says. Another 10-year neighbor, lived there for 10 years, Janice Catalano, was also stunned. She said, I am at a loss for words. And I think anybody in this neighborhood would say the same thing.
And I'm an Italian bitch from New York, and I'm at a loss for words.
I'm at a loss for words. Let me tell you about it for a half hour, 45 minutes. I got a few things to say about why I got no words.
All the reasons I got nothing to say.
I can't even speak. I can explain why. He said, she said, and I think everyone in this neighborhood would say the same thing. He did programs in the town to keep kids on the right track. I just don't believe it. That's her loss for words. They were like, oh, okay, we got your
we got.
He's like, hold on, I got more to say. I got more to say. The town supervisor said, as always, the town stands ready to cooperate fully with any and all law enforcement agencies in this matter. Well, no fucking shit. So you're supposed to contact someone if your kids have been in contact with him. They said that they're reaching out to administrators of other organizations and schools to make them aware of this incident to try to get the word out. He said the charges were surprising not only to friends and family but to Mr. Torres himself.
Wow.
His lawyer says that Torres was, quote, obviously upset and disturbed by the allegations.
Yeah.
Family members, including a brother and sister, appeared in court in support of him, but didn't comment on that.
I didn't know it was illegal.
So yeah, he's going to wander out.
Arrested me for this.
I mean, good Lord, what's he going to do? Oh, he's wandering around.
Go get a brat down a 10-cent beer night.
That's the thing. Or I mean, what? Get a brat 10-cent beer night's a good thing. I drive around in your van.
Yeah.
I don't know. Start doing HVAC work. You can't work it with kids at this point.
Have a county vehicle drive and clear your head.
Something. Maybe. I don't know. But he ends up. He wanders around. He gets lost.
Yeah.
Which is the weird thing because he's
from there.
But he still gets lost. And he doesn't know what to do. And he says, you know what? I don't even know where I'm doing. His phone wouldn't work. He read his battery died. Didn't have his charger on him. You know how it goes here. He didn't know what the fuck to do. So he said, I'm going to knock on this house. He knocked on this house. He knocked on the door. He said, he knocks on it and opens. And it's my grandma. And she says, Ma, how is it you've come to arrive here? Ma, you son of a bitch, get over here. Where's my purse? I get my knife out. I cut your balls off, you dirty bastard. Ma, get out of my house. Go. You get out of my yard. Ma, cut your balls off. Go. You run. You run, you bastard son of a bitch. And that's it.
That's it.
Poof. She chased him off the property with a knife, and he ran away, and that was that. So poof, in a poof of marinara sauce and homemade pasta. She's gone.
Unbelievable.
And Rusty is frightened.
Yeah,
he finds his way back to where he's going. So, that's that. May 9th, 2012, he pleads innocent to 4 charges of sexual abuse. They say the incident occurred after he had unloaded equipment from his van outside a school in preparation for an athletic program and set the kids up doing exercises.
Yeah.
He said, the police say he admitted flashing an 8-year-old girl in the back of a van. In the back of a van, Jimmy. How disgusting is that?
How stereotypical.
Yeah, after he had, played with her in the playground there.
Hey, you want to see my dick?
He said he confessed that he became, oh my God.
Oh boy.
He became, quote, slightly aroused while watching the child hang upside down from a pull-up bar on Monday afternoon.
How could you?
This is fucking disgusting, and I want to punch this man in the face. Quote, this is gross. Yeah. Quote, her dress kept flying up, and I could see her underwear. It was a light color and her private area. Then he said that he and the girl had a lot of physical contact as he helped her down off the bar. He said, quote, body to body, over and over. I brought her to the back of my van, and I don't want to talk about what happened there, but at one point I accidentally exposed my erect penis.
Oh boy.
That's his
Whoops-a-day. There it is. I'm sorry.
Peekaboo.
You're too young to look at that.
He says that the girl never touched him, and that he, quote, stopped myself before anything bad happened to her.
No, something bad already happened.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
She saw a grown man's dick.
Yeah, that's it. End of story.
Over 50-year-old man's penis.
End of story.
It's too
End
much.
of story. You're a stickball Hall of Famer,
right.
sir. I expect better from you. So then they said that he rubbed his erect penis from the front and back of the same little girl a week later. He rubbed his dick on her through his pants a week later.
Oh, my God.
He says, quote, this is what he told the cops, quote, I don't want to work with children anymore. It's too risky.
What? The fuck?
So the detective knocked the orange slices out of his hands and kicked him out of the fucking... What, are you kidding me, motherfucker?
You guys, you're not... These fucking kids, they're rapists.
Oh.
I'm gonna be a victim.
Unbelievable. Unfucking real.
It's too risky.
It's too risky. Like OJ's like, you know what? I'm not going to date blondes anymore.
No,
it's too risky. No, you stabbed her and you molested the kid. It's not risky. It's risky for them.
That's crazy.
Too risky. He says, quote, also said to the Nassau detective, quote, I have learned my lesson and would never do anything like that again.
We hope so. And
we'll hope to make sure of it, as a matter of fact. His lawyer, Scott Carrigan, said, quote, he emphatically denies the charges. He's upset and disturbed. These allegations seem out of character and came out of nowhere. Well, that's usually how it works.
His penis came out of nowhere.
That's the thing. Dirtbags who like to fucking molest kids usually don't look like dirtbags who like to molest kids, because you know what people do? Keep their fucking kids away from people who look like that. They look like coaches who want to help and have a goddamn tray of orange slices in their fucking hour early. That's what molesters look like for the most part. God damn it. So, wow. So a judge issued an order of protection to block any contact, obviously, with the children. They also intend to investigate other things because there's other people they're talking about. He's been working with in Oyster Bay for the last 10 years, working with kids.
God.
A decade. His lawyer said, quote, he has a stellar reputation.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a great, as so did every priest that did lots of them.
Frightened to talk.
The best reputations before they get caught are usually child molesters of any crime. They usually have the best reputation because they have to be so
charismatic. They
button the fuck up in the rest of their life, because what they do is so fucking disgusting that they can't show a crack of it. They have to be so buttoned up. Whereas me and you can be assholes because we're not worried about it.
Because they got nothing else.
You can get in my head and look in there with a microscope. I don't give a shit. I have nothing in there to hide. Enjoy.
There's not even a tape.
Yeah,
not
nothing
even
going
something
on.
that I've seen.
No, God, no, Jesus. So he's released on $50,000 bail. There, January 2013, he's indicted on more abuse charges.
Oh my God.
More. A detective who talked to another little girl said, quote, I know the difference between a truth and a lie, and this is the truth. She said, talking to a girl who gave a detailed statement about her abuse. 2014, prosecutors said that the one girl's abuse took place 4 times in April 2012 and May 2012. He abused another girl between October 2008, when she was in kindergarten, in kindergarten and in May 2012 later on, because, he knew her. His trial is delayed several times due to health issues from him.
Is it 70s now?
Yeah, and
60s.
Yeah, and the fact that he hired and dismissed 3 lawyers so far. So, a Nassau judge, though, declared that he was, quote, ready to go to battle to ensure his trial begins soon. Yeah. He said, quote, I'm telling you, this case is ready for trial. He said, this case is not going to be stopped because of your health. This is going to be your last adjournment. We're going to fucking try you no matter how sick you are, asshole. You're sick, all right, and it doesn't matter. So
keeps getting forfeited, James.
Forfeited. See? It's all forfeits. They allege here that he, on 2 occasions, he pressed up against the victim and exposed himself to her and encouraged her to touch him as well. Wow, this is fucking gross. He underwent spinal fusion surgery. That's why they delayed it. Originally, he's suspended from his job. Outside the courtroom after he pled, he said, quote, I'm definitely innocent. Okay. Great. His latest attorney here, said that he told the judge that the judge told him he should be prepared to try the case soon, and the judge told him, we will go to battle if we have to get you there. I will be keeping on top of it. So the district attorney said that the prosecution's ready to proceed and would even bring in a witness from outside the country to testify. So Smith, who's Torres' lawyer, said that Torres is, quote, looking forward to the trial. It's been an incredibly emotional burden on him. Oh, I bet, on him. It must have been terrible. Now, the trial starts. Jesus Christ. The prosecutor calls him a man with a, quote, depraved appetite for young girls who sexually abused 2 8-year-olds he was coaching. Yes. That is a bad fucking, that's a bad caption on your Instagram post there. That's not a good one.
That's a bad bio on your Instagram.
Not a good one. He says then the district attorney also says in the opening statement that he had inappropriate contact with the girls, through the victims, through what the girls knew as bumping.
Ew.
This is what grosses me out. When, like, the kids know of something they do, but they don't know it's wrong, but they even have a nickname for it. Bumping is what they called it. When he would touch you with his dick. Fucking disgusting. Quote, he liked to bump her in her private area with his private area.
Oh my God!
I'm
they saw
fucking
it.
Puke. The defense attorney said his client's not a child predator, but rather a beloved retired player who's mentored 40,000 kids, which makes me think he's molested 40,000 kids, or at least 4,000. He's not molesting all of them, but he's found the 2 weak ones. He knows
if he bats 100 out of that, you know what I mean. He's
predators.
It's a lot.
They
it's a lot
know
of kids.
Who in the herd to pick out. They know it.
10% of those?
Know it. But he was wrong because this girl went right home and told her parents.
Good.
So good for them. She had a good enough relationship. 40,000 to 1. A 1 in 40,000 chance that there's even one iota of truth to these allegations of 2 little girls. He said parents and others who've referred to themselves as, quote, Coach Rusty groupies faithfully traveled to his baseball sessions, and it's just ridiculous. Absolutely silly here. This is unconscionable. Can't believe they're doing this to my client. The DA said, well, he exposed himself to the victim and took her into a van. Then that was on April 30th. May 7th, 2012, in her last session, she told Torres, quote, that hurts me when you do that.
Ew.
She doesn't like it because she's a child.
Right.
It's fucking horrific. That day, she came home and abruptly left the dinner table. Her babysitter, who's a college student, the college student babysitter said, quote, she ran upstairs crying. And the girl asked to speak to her mother that night. She didn't want to talk to the babysitter. And the girl's mother testified that her daughter told her that Torres exposed himself to her, and that Torres, after that, Torres's access to the girls came to a screeching halt. No shit. A former teammate of his, Ron Bloomberg, remember, he testifies for him on his side. He says, because this is all character. They have to make it believe like these kids must be mistaken, and he's a nice guy, and they were just mistaking his friendliness for having a hard dick and showing it to them.
Right.
You know how that goes. Yeah,
a big, hard, golden skin dick.
I had a bomb pop. I thought kids liked ice cream. It must be a big mistake. No. Jesus. Ron Bloomberg says, quote, they loved him. He's, by the way, Major League Baseball's first designated hitter.
Really?
Ron Bloomberg, yes. They loved him, talking about the kids here. By the way, he's up to 7 counts of abuse with girls younger than 11 here.
What are you doing, Bloomberg?
Jesus. He said he had Bloomberg up there. 2 other defense witnesses, including an expert in clinical and forensic psychology, took the stand for him.
Yeah.
Torres did not testify. Bloomberg testified he had not heard any sexual abuse allegations from Torres' students. He said, quote, he's never had any problems. He calls Torres his brother. And he says he knew of none of this shit, knew of no bumping or anything else. The defense concentrates on one victim's interview with the police was not recorded and the second one's was. Mm-hmm. That's what they're concentrating on. Now, there's a psychologist here who said he conducted the court-ordered evaluations on the validity of the sex abuse allegations and testified that it's standard practice to record interviews of sexual abuse victims. He said the recording allows you to help hear the child's words, quote, how they said them, how they responded to questions, whether the questions were posed neutrally, open-ended, or closed-ended, if it was being manipulated, the process of the kid. Because if you just have the kid's answers, you could manipulate the kid into saying anything if you really wanted to. So one of the victims was interviewed with her parents in the room, which the psychologist said is not standard. They said, quote, in the presence of any other parties, especially family members, is a strong potential bias. He also said the videotaped interview was not conducted neutrally, and the officer posed closed-ended questions and used adjectives to describe the girl's interactions with Torres. They're saying they worked the girl's statements. I mean,
that's nice.
You have to if you're a defense attorney, but Jesus Christ. In cross-examination, this psychologist said that they didn't interview anybody. They said, did you interview any of these people? And he said, no, I did not. And they said, well, how the fuck do you know about any of this shit then? So in court, they pointed to one victim. This is the prosecutor. One victim interviewed at the hospital by herself. The prosecutor said in a videotaped interview. Another victim describing, quote, a good touch and bad touch said, quote, a bad touch was when someone touches you where you don't want to be touched. That testimony is expected to continue Monday. They're going to make closing arguments. These kids, man. I mean, you gotta. I feel bad for these
testifying?
kids. 2 are testifying.
7?
Yeah, no, 7 counts against 2 girls.
Got it. Okay.
These poor
against
little
him
kids.
for 2 girls.
Yeah, these 2. Again, that's against them. They were a little aggressive.
7 counts of rape against
a little
these
aggressive. 8-year-old girls, or how 8-year-old girls
Stop touching his dick. I know it's gold.
They're pushy.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know it's gold, and it's hard to resist. These kids, fuck, man, and their parents. If you thought you were doing good and putting your case, played for the Yankees. He's going to teach you. And then all this, I feel bad for these people, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Rusty Torres. IT service desk for NYC GOITT, do it in New York City. Okay. Rusty Torres, GM, general manager of Avenger PR Aerospace in Puerto Rico. Went to Arizona State.
Oh, how about that?
Look at that. Rusty Torres, assistant professor of business analytics at the University of North Texas. Jesus Christ. And Rusty Torres, engineer at Infotech in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And finally, Rusty Torres of Austin, Texas, who is a retired soldier and law enforcement officer.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Who's like, seriously?
Yeah, he's like, I'm in my 60s.
Damn it. So girls testify.
Yeah.
The little girls testify in court. They sat them on a big book.
Yeah.
So you could see her.
Fucking phone book.
Yep. It was a legal book, actually. She, talked as an 11-year-old girl testifying. She said that Coach Rusty started, quote, thrusting his private part against her during baseball clinics when she was in kindergarten.
Gross.
She said that the touching, which she called bumping, escalated when she got into 3rd grade, and that's when she started thinking something was wrong, because she's just getting older.
For 3 years, he's dry fucking you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
She's now in 6th grade. She says at this point, she couldn't pick him out in court because it had been 3 years, but she just knew it was Coach Rusty. But she agreed that the coach wore baseball clothes at the clinic and, went over the whole thing. She said the last time she went to the clinic was in May 2012 when she saw her friend running from the coach's van looking, quote, scared and grossed out. Oh. Jesus. 2 days later, that's when that she talked to the police about the coach and all that. during cross-examination. How do you cross-examine an 11-year-old abused girl?
I mean, you've got to, as it's your job.
But how do you do it to where it doesn't fuck your client?
I don't know. Grab a dildo and be like, what is this?
Dude, yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever seen this?
No? Okay. No? And I've just ruined it more.
She's never been molested.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. So during cross-examination here, the girl tells his attorney, Rusty's attorney, that Torres never kissed her. He never showed her his private parts or asked to see hers. She also agreed, this was only the one, she agreed that until she saw her friend by the coach's van, she liked training with him. She also said during questioning here that his private part was against her when she was leaning in a catcher's position, that he would bump her into a proper position when she was learning to scoop ground balls. Ugh. And sometimes bumped his private parts into her when he lifted and lowered her from the pull-up bar. But after more questions, the girl agreed that the grinding the coach did against her was different from putting her in a baseball stance. Because the DA came up and said, yeah, is that the same or is that different? She said, no, it's different. So the defense tried to point out inconsistencies regarding location of inappropriate touching. Fuck you. She testified that he made her Torres made her touch him and exposed himself to her in his van. Wow. The defense attorney said, well, she didn't specifically say where she touched him and where he exposed her in the grand jury testimony. So I don't know why we're letting this in now. The assistant district attorney here told the judge that the defense lawyer's characterizations were disingenuous. And but they said they made him clarify. It's just ridiculous that they were doing this. The victim here, she testified that she didn't tell him to stop because she was nervous and she's a child.
Right.
And, quote, wasn't sure what he was doing was wrong.
Nervous is, she doesn't even know that that's not what that is.
Yeah.
It's not nervous. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, she said I wasn't sure what he was doing was wrong because she's a child. That's how fucking, oh my God. She said that she told Torres she felt uncomfortable, and then she told her mom that day. Now, testifying for the prosecution, they also, the court-appointed person said that the victim drew a picture of male genitalia while waiting with her parents to be interviewed by police. Then she scratched it out when people saw. So she was drawing dicks.
Unbelievable.
Because that's what
she remembers.
Poor fucking kid. But then was like hiding it. Like, like she was trying to hide it from her parents. That she knew it. I feel so bad for that kid. Jesus Christ. He also took her in the van both of those days. The first day inappropriately touched her. Second day exposed herself. We talked about that. Wow. Jesus Christ. He declined to comment outside the courtroom, but his lawyer says that he felt, quote, a great deal of compassion for what the child was going through, testifying. Yeah, I'm sure he's a great deal of compassion. July 31st, 2014, he is found guilty by a jury of 5 counts of sexual abuse of an 8-year-old girl. He's acquitted of a couple of charges that he abused the second girl. And this is 9 women, 3 men jury here. He's convicted of rubbing up against the girl while he worked as a baseball coach and the slightly aroused and all that. Jesus. His lawyer said, Mr. Torres is obviously gravely disappointed, and I'm gravely disappointed. We believe there were reasonable doubts. Jesus. So he's free on $50,000 bail waiting for sentencing. Now, during sentencing, the judge says, quote, as a professional athlete, people looked up to this defendant and trusted him to teach America's favorite pastime to their children. Instead, he violated that trust and committed horrible acts against a defenseless young girl. There's nothing that can erase the hurt and pain caused by this defendant. I hope this sentence will provide a measure of justice for his victims and her loved ones. You, sir, may fuck off. 3 years in prison and 3 years in prison, 10 years of post-supervision release, and also lifelong sex offender registration.
Lifelong.
Fuck you.
That's great.
And also in prison, he's not going to have an easy time.
No, it's
not going to be good.
Yeah.
Not
what
good
year was this?
This was 2014.
Okay.
So he's out of prison now, but we don't know here. So he's gone. Like I said, 10 years of post-supervision release and sex offender registration. Wow. His lawyers claim that jurors were manipulated into changing their votes to end deliberations.
Oh, boy.
A judge shot down those claims, upheld the guilty verdict, and gave Torres the finger finger as he walked out of the court, I hope. Can only hope so. Jesus Christ. Thanks, Rusty.
Right.
Or Rosie. What do you like? What do you like being called least? So on Thursday, or the day after, his attorney said that his client was, quote, sad about the sentence and maintains his innocence. Can't get enough of old Rusty Torres. Well, you can buy his card. There's a pretty cool looking 1977 Los Angeles Angels at the time, Anaheim, or California at the time, baseball card here, good condition, $1.75 plus $4.49 shipping.
For a child molester?
For a child molester. Yeah. There's a million of them out there.
That should be a nickel.
You don't need it. Yeah, $4.49 shipping is the thing.
That's
here.
Crazy.
Only one left in stock. Get yours now.
Right.
That is Rusty Torres.
Wow.
And a whole lot of mess right there.
He's out there.
He's out there.
Free to touch kids.
Hopefully not anywhere near, I assume.
I mean, he's got to be.
Part of his post.
I hope there's some supervision being happened pretty frequently.
Part of his post-supervision release has to be you're not allowed to be around kids. Right. He's a sex offender. Yeah. He's a fucking registered sex offender. So... But he's out there, and
Jesus.
So guess what? Everybody last week, they was like, oh, that's so sad, and I don't feel bad laughing at John Cordick. I feel bad. Feel better now?
Yeah.
No, right? Then shut the fuck up and let us tell our stories.
Jesus.
This is a spite show.
Yeah. Oh, boy, it's gross. That's wild,
No, it wasn't a spite show. I'm only kidding. We love you guys. We're joking. But
zero to feel bad about for that guy.
No, fuck this guy. This guy sucks. And you wanted to like him up until then, too.
Yeah, you're rooting on him.
Like the cocaine, you're like, oh, man,
what the fuck are you doing?
Get a good job. Yeah. I hope somebody takes him in. Maybe a team hires him.
He didn't make any goddamn money.
That's what I'm saying.
Not today's money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you feel bad for him, and then that happens. You're like, oh, God, never mind. Monster.
Right.
Monster. So, Jesus Christ. If you like that show, you can tell us all about it. Please do. Get on Apple Podcasts or even Stitcher. You can do that. The purple icon's Apple Podcast. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. Let us know you're out there and enjoying the show. We like that. We like to hear all that stuff, and it helps drive us up the charts. We don't understand why it does, but it does. Yeah. You can follow us on social media very easily. We're at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Check us out there. You can email us. We are crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can do that. Shutupandgivememurder.com is the website to get everything you need. All sorts of new merchandise up all the time. Tickets to the live shows, Small Town Murder live shows. Oh, guess what, guys?
Yeah.
We're brewing up another Crime and Sports live show for 2020. There's one on the schedule.
Just one,
It's sold out in Nashville. Right. We're working up another one.
One more.
Not going to tell you where or when yet because it's still in the process, but there's going to be one more, fuckers, and it's going to be awesome. I'll tell you that right now. So come out to that or whenever that happens. Buy tickets to Small Town Murder, though, honestly. Our live show, if you like Crime and Sports, you will love a Small Town Murder live show because it's just fucking comedy. We will kick you in the dicks or pussies, depending on what you have. Whichever you have, we'll kick you in it with comedy, and it's going to be fun. We don't just sit around and dick off at a live show. We sit down and we are beating the shit out of you till we get up with comedy.
And these shows are almost sold out, a vast majority of them. So
get your tickets now.
If they're still available, get them quick because they're going to go.
Definitely, especially Boston, New York, Portland, San
Francisco for sure.
That's going fast. So do that. Find us, everything like that. Find us on social media. Do everything. If you want to be an even bigger hero, a supporter of the show, a producer of the show, part of the team, that can be done excessively easily. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can make a donation there, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And we are going to be releasing, we have released Small Town Murder stuff on Patreon. We're going to be releasing some Crime and Sports Patreon stuff this year too. Maybe episodes that don't quite have enough for a whole lengthy episode, but have a crazy small, one-time crime or something, shit like that. It'll be fun as shit. So get on that, donate, or you can make, did I say PayPal already? Yeah, crimeinsports@gmail.com. Do all that shit. Yeah. Follow us, hang out with us, do everything like that. And we can't tell you how much we appreciate it, but we're goddamn well going to try,
Jimmy.
We'll
give our best.
Jimmy, you know what? Let's try right now. Please hit me with those names. Rub them all over me.
This week's executive producers are Tracy Mitchell and her friend LQ. LQ's ex is a dickhead, I'm told.
Fuck him then.
I don't know what happened, but I guess he's a piece of shit. So
he's shit, dude.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, LQ.
He didn't give us money, so he can fuck off.
Justin Mangum, Tanya Volanek, and Jordan Bennett. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do for us. Froylan and Amber Olivo Olivo. I think, yeah.
Tony.
I think it was Amber's birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Something. I don't know. I wrote their names down because it was special, and I don't know what I was supposed to say because I'm an idiot. So thank you, Froyo. And then Kelly Cook's birthday is this week, and her friend, I think, he may have been a special friend. I don't know, but he wanted us to tell her that.
Well, happy birthday.
And then Tigran Minot-Sakanian, I think that's right.
Sure.
Brandon Massey, Elena Stojaj. No, it's a J at the end.
Okay.
None of that ever makes any sense to me. Margaret King, Lindsay Han, Leanne Fennessy, Josh McIntyre, Allison Morris, Bobby Colorado, probably not, but I wish it was.
Yeah.
Emily Tran, Nicole King, Sydney Wilmington, Piper with no last name, Joseph Stafford, Matt Stafford's little brother, obviously.
Clearly.
Brian Callen's brother, Sean, Tater Nuts Fleming.
That's
Who is that? This is the second time.
That's Corn Tits' brother, Tater Nuts, right? I couldn't even get it out.
That's right. So I thought you actually knew him.
I couldn't get Corn Tits out of my mouth for some reason.
Hannah Hart, Josh Nowakowski, Danielle Harper Phillips, Kale Ludwig, Allison Collins, Mary Kate, Ashley's sister,
Ashley?
right?
Ashley, cheap bitch, pony up.
Soma Sant, Denise Anderson, Carlos Lopez, Jackie Sukup, donated twice. Thank you, Jackie. Carrie Snodgrass, Brandon Finn. I wrote down Snodgrass, and I remember there was a kid in high school named Jesse Gartens, and some genius realized that his last name spelled backward was Snotrag. That's what we called him for the rest of the time that I ever knew him.
Solid shit there.
Christy Inez Franklin, Phoenix Fire, Rashab Shaw, Jennifer Baker, Stacia, Ann Loading, Stacy Waller, Don Dickman. I am sorry, brother. Chad Johnson, because he listens to this.
Joe.
Amelia Jones, Brady Thompson, Mindy Deaver Hammond. Jesus. Kristen Jazdadewski. No, it's not. Jazdadewski. Mike Sanders, Andy Cox, Jason Fuller, Jay Fuller. Clayton Stanek. Leanne Hatch, Ryan O'Halloran, Joy Looper, Roseanne Bartley, Angela Hayes, Jessica, Wade's daughter, Jessica. Wade Boggs' daughter.
Perfect. Well, God, everybody's just coming into the woodwork today.
Ed Reed's daughter, Alexandra.
Wow. Terrific.
Taylor Clark, Danielle Webb, Jennifer with no last name, Ryan and Tristan Tisdale, Wayman's family.
God, everyone today.
Jennifer Pointer, one of the Pointer sisters.
Wow.
Kazuka,
one of the Pointer sisters.
Kazuka Dragon, Sarah Hanchett, Cody Rhodes, Dusty's
son, who's a WWE star, now off on, I think, AEW. I think he started it.
Becky Gardner, Mitchell Herring, Amanda Mitchell, Jenny.
Kevin's daughter.
Right, yeah, obviously. Earl Scheib's daughter, Jenny.
Wow, getting that paint money. Thanks.
Jess with no last name, Whitney Booza, Nora Seward, Shannon Wick, Marion, Derek and Lavinia Adams, Jen with no last name, Jamie with no last name, Kristen Rybolt, Brooke Dovers, that's Ben's sister.
Ben's the little sister, yeah, clearly, obviously.
Samantha Krieger, Cindy Bittner, Jamie McDonald, of the old McDonald fortune.
Well, clearly.
Obviously.
It's from the Hall. They're getting the farm money. Get that big-time farm money.
Samantha Mayer, Krista Walker, Robin Anderson, Jacob Dameron, Smokestack Matt, I think, because it said Snokestack, but I think Matt just misspelled his.
I think he's just high.
His little trucker handle there.
Smokestack, bro.
Marcus Foldo, Bill Szynski, Laura with no last name, Tara Louise, Janice Hill, Senora Feinstein.
Hey, Senora.
Tracy Renninger, Quizats Hatterach. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Whoa.
Is that a joke or is that a real name? Quizats?
It sounds like a weird store in the mall that closes down in a month. Was that Hatterats?
That's Quizats Hatterach. That's where you get all your hats.
Like Persian rugs and shit. I don't know what's going on in there.
Chris Crow, Stephen Rude came through. Thank you, Stephen. I wrote a weird name here. What did I do? Is that a pan? No, it's not. What is that name? I'd show it to you, but you'd be like, what are you doing with your life, Jimmy? That's either. Not. Is that Ryan?
If you
Arian?
can't read your handwriting.
Ryan?
What do you expect from me?
I'm going to figure that out. Deanne Dooley, Adam Udani, Pierce DeCourcy, Aaron Ray, Matt Bottini, or Botany. No, it's Bottini, isn't it? That's
Probably.
Italian, I think.
Bottini.
Dylan Irish, David Decant, Sarah Carpenter, Alexis Saltzman, Craig Cole, Michael Ryan, John Herndon, Bradley Spielman, The Gentleman Gamer, spelled like
Well then.
Gay.
Cool. A gay gamer.
I hope that he's beating the shit out of 8-year-olds that are calling him a homo.
They're
and he's
calling
like,
him the N-word?
I am. Fuck you.
Not yet.
Bradley Spielman, I said that. Nate Sage, Jason with no last name, Jenny Smith, Susanna Platt, Jude Kendall, Amanda Cassidy, Lisa Gallo, not Callow, Gallo.
Jerry Callow. Callow.
Kate Graham, I believe that is.
Obviously.
Right.
You know who that is, yeah. Thank you.
Steve Schnell, thank you.
Thanks,
Schnell,
Steve.
you fucking.
See you in Philly.
Thank you. Peyton Meadows, Liz Vasquez, James Martyr, Rachel Peterson, Joshua Hust, Caitlin Mason, Gary Howard, Benjamin Hill,
thanks,
and Katie Baby. Obviously,
Katie Baby. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for everything you do. And then also, big shouts to the Chiefs and all their fans for enjoying a win this week.
And
congratulations.
we are going to take credit for our moment of silence during the Kansas City live show. At the moment, at the time we were there, Patrick Mahomes had an injury that was literally the concern of Kansas City. Every car we got in, everywhere we went, people would be like, "Do you hear Mahomes is practicing today?" I don't know if it's a wise move. He threw around. I don't know, though. It's all they have there. So we're very happy for them. We had a moment of silence before the Small Town Murder Show to pray for Patrick Mahomes' injury. And guess what?
It worked.
You're welcome, fuckers.
Enjoy it.
Thank you, everybody. You guys are truly, truly, you're heroes, and you keep the show going. You really do. This week, as you heard, did you hear any ads? None.
Yeah.
So the only thing we gave you an ad for was donate into the show if you want, and that's it. And otherwise, enjoy the goddamn shit.
Yeah.
Jimmie, what if they wanted to enjoy your goddamn shit? How could they do it?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Truly, guys, you just enjoying the show and being a part of it matters to me a whole hell of a lot. So thank you for all that. What about you? Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description. Do it that way. Save yourself some time, trouble, frustration, auto corrections, and everything else. Just copy and paste. Much fucking easier. Do that, and we'll at Jimmie P is Funny. Enjoy. This is a fun one.
I had a blast this week. I'm sickened by the crime, but the whole rest of it was a goddamn blast. We had so much fun here, and I think it's time to go. Let's get the fuck out of here. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus